Welcome back to Idle Talk. Today, this is episode 6.
Yes.
Episode 6. I think I said episode 6 last week, but it was actually episode 5.
Did you?
I did, yeah. This is episode 6 of season 1. We missed last week. Give us the 411.
Why we missed it?
Yeah, why we missed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
apartment had inspections.
Damn.
And I couldn't have
You're gonna have
mics,
immigrants in there.
cameras, a bunch of shit set up in this room, and then being like, "This is all a fire hazard. We're raising your rent."
What?
So, yeah.
They actually do that?
Yeah.
They actually just raise your rent because of like shit
If you do dumb shit, yeah.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah.
That feels illegal.
Or if I like, if we have messed something up or broke like a wall or a window or something, we have to pay for it. So that's why they like come in, but also it's also for the landlords too. So like if our heater isn't working or
so the city
sink,
comes in?
yeah, they come to check in the apartment. So either we're not fucking up or the landlord isn't fucking up, and if the landlord's fucking up, then they either tell them to fix it or drop the rent. And usually they come and fix it because they don't want to.
They don't want to drop the rent.
So yeah,
That's crazy.
that's why I couldn't have a bunch of people over, or
Just me.
I just couldn't have a bunch of shit around like this. Like I literally had to clean up my room to the point where like it didn't look like there was anything wrong with it, because the guy walked in, was like, "All right," and then walked out, and I was like, "Oh, thank God."
That's all that was.
Yeah. But he was like walking around the whole house. It's just, I think when he came in and he saw me, he's like, I don't want to be annoying. So he just came in, looked around, looked at you see like, if you look behind you, it's like a crack. He looked at those types of shit, like the wall, like is caving in. He's like, all right. And he started like jotting things like that down. And then he's like, all right, bro, I'll see you. And I was like, bye.
Structural damage.
Yeah.
Hazard.
But it's not from me, because that's been there since I've like started living here.
He's like, still hasn't fixed
it. Yeah.
Worse.
So yeah.
So you didn't get no rent knocked off for that? I'm like, yo, it's been like that for mad long.
I probably did. They haven't
Said anything.
called my mom back yet. So because usually they call her and then I have to translate, which sucks. Fucking hate that.
And then while you're playing Hogwarts Legacy.
In
In the middle of it.
Overwatch, something. It's always something. But yeah.
Hey, at least you could pause one of those games.
I can pause Hogwarts. I can't pause Overwatch. Yeah. But yeah, that's why we missed last episode. He was supposed to come over. We're supposed to record, go to the gym. Couldn't do any of that. I literally just had to stay home and wait for this asshole to come in and
But this
inspect
man
my apartment.
went boxing.
I went boxing 2 days ago. Yeah. I was feeling down a little bit. You know, I was like down in my depths, and I was like overthinking a lot, and I just wanted to like, you know, get it out healthily instead of just like sitting by myself and crying.
The best way you could do it.
So I went to my boxing gym and just
You sparred?
hit the bag a few times. Then I started doing a few exercises, and then I sparred with somebody who like I've been their sparring partner like 4 or 5 times. So it was like really casual. It wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to kill you, you're trying to kill me. Just, you know, I'm angry, you're angry. We're both just trying to get
but
shit off
be
our
actually
chest.
hitting each other.
Absolutely, yeah. But you wear like headgear.
And
You wear headgear and a mouthpiece, like a mouth guard, and you wear gloves.
even with that shit, like that should be hurting.
Yeah.
He got to go lick.
Yeah. My weight class is heavyweight, so it's like 200-pound men and above.
Bro, like,
because I'm 210 pounds, so I'm above I can't fight other people lower than me.
Yeah.
And if I spar people who are much smaller than me, it's not fair. Like I'm a lot bigger for a reason.
Damn.
So usually they try to spar me with someone who's in close proximity to me, but most of those guys are like most men who are like that weight class are big. Like there's some big dudes. And yeah, they hit hard even with headgear. But yeah, it's just it felt good, like to like de-stress type shit. Yeah. Type shit. And I got really sore.
Yeah, I heard
And
today.
And then I had to go to the gym again today for you.
Yeah,
and
but that was a couple days later.
Like, damn, it was 2 days later.
Exactly, a couple.
And I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done it. Not only was my workout not as good as last time, that bar was shitty, bro.
It wasn't the bar, it was the bench.
The bed, whatever we were using, that shit sucked. It was like tilted. I don't know if it was the floor or the machine.
It was the way one half of the bench was 30 locked in on the floor, and the other half was like loose and it kept moving.
So yeah,
I blame you though for that. Because you kept putting the weight back mad hard, pushing the bench back, even though one side of the bench only like stayed still, didn't move, and the other one moved an inch until like I went on there and I was like, this shit got way worse. Like since before.
Yeah, it would get worse.
But I mean, I think you had a solid day. I think you realized you didn't realize that you were hitting some weight.
Yeah, because after we
repeatedly.
switched, I hit the weight that I was hitting last time, and I was like, oh, this is way easier now.
No,
After
I'm
we
saying
switched.
you failed at one weight, right?
Yeah.
You only got a few, and you were like, oh, I have to go back down. I don't like
Yeah.
it. And then you went back up.
And
You
I
eventually
didn't-
got
I
back
didn't
to
even-
it.
I didn't even notice I did it.
Yeah,
too.
and you like hit it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, yo, do the shit I'm doing. And I'm like,
Because I felt like after I failed that once, I was like, ah, damn, like I can't really hit as heavy as I did last time. Because
Yeah.
if I'm not lifting this, there's no way. So I was just like, I'm gonna stay here.
we also had to fix your bar path technique. When I was like,
I was lifting straight up.
I was like,
instead of
here, you're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
A little bit lower down your chest, you're uncomfortable. You gotta find your spot where you're sturdy.
yeah,
And I feel like that helps. Knowing that helps a lot.
for sure.
Because you can aim where you wanted to. You wanted the lower chest, aim to lower chest. I'm like, you can aim there, but as long as you get back to where you gotta be.
Yeah.
The shit is easier. It's not a straight down. It's not a straight line going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a slope kind of line. You know?
That's why.
And so I was like, let's fix that. And then you hit some big boy weight, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
After like struggling the whole fucking
The whole day.
Yeah.
No water
Just
again.
No. We got water eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah. But the first, I felt like I was gonna pass out at one point. I was like, damn, I'm dizzy as hell. I was like, I'm lifting. I feel like I'm gonna die. And I was like, I need to find water, Nando. Like, I literally was like, I'm gonna pass the fuck out. If
I
don't
walked.
find
I
water.
walked around the whole gym and the
Nothing.
first floor. Nothing.
Yeah. I had to ask somebody, and they were like, go upstairs. And I was like, oh, okay.
And they
No.
had that new water bottle. That new water bottle. You put your shit in the water fountain.
I mean, the
and
one
just pours in.
downstairs also was that.
I
It
didn't
just
realize.
broke.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it just broke.
I think I used it
We
to
used
just
it
drink
once.
regular water.
We used it once.
The regular water fountain
Yeah.
way. We didn't have water bottles at that time.
Yeah, we didn't bring our bottles that time.
And so, speaking of bottles, I bought a blender bottle yesterday.
Like a ninja?
No, the blender bottles are the shaker cups. You know, we have the
With the
little
ball?
aluminum ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That company's called Blender or something.
Oh.
So I bought a bottle, and it had a Baby Yoda on it, or Grogu. It had Grogu on it, and it said,
And they said, do you even lift?
yeah. So I have that cup.
You know how many people I've seen with that cup?
Do you have that cup?
I know, but I almost bought it.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw 2 of my coworkers had it, and I was like, oh.
It's a cute cup, though.
And then I was like, I don't want it.
I liked it.
And then I
I-
seen a bunch of
Bro,
people at the gym have it.
You know what I hate about you?
What?
I was like, I'm gonna tell him about this, and if he wants, I'm gonna give him that cup. And then you were like, corny ass cup, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna keep this goddamn cup.
not corny.
I told my
It's
sister,
just
I was
I
like,
didn't buy it.
hey, it's my friend's birthday like a few months ago. It was like 2 weeks, and I was like, he likes
I do like
Baby Yoda.
I do like Grogu.
Grogu. I hate that I have to call him Grogu.
What's his name?
And I was like, I like Baby Yoda way.
I hate
better
calling
than
you by your name. I'm gonna call you Steve now.
All right, Febreze, relax. But I'm gonna see if you like. I'm gonna
I
bring
do
it
like
up.
it.
I'm
I'm
gonna see if
just
he
saying,
liked it,
I-
and he was like, "It's
No,
a
listen.
shitty bottle,
No.
basic
I
bitches
didn't say
only."
none of that. All I said
blah
was
blah blah.
mad people have it, and I've seen it. It has nothing to do with
My
the
feelings
fact that
are
it's
hurt.
not cute.
My feelings
It's still a cute
are
cup, and it's great. And I would keep the gift and love it forever and cherish it, and I would use it.
You were like, "That's a basic bitch cup."
No,
I
I
was
was
describing the
just
cup,
saying.
and you're like, "I already knew about that." It's like when you send somebody a meme, and they're like, "I saw it
I've seen
already."
this. Yeah,
This shit hurts.
I get it.
That shit hurts, bro. But moving on. This episode is going to be a
Brought to you by-
Last of Us focused podcast. We're halfway through season 1.
Best TV show out right now, bro.
Fabian's been talking about it in the minis and hasn't said shit about
I don't
it.
want to spoil people. Bro.
I'm here.
I want people to like watch it.
ruin your experience.
Spoilers alert.
I'm going to spoil the
So
fuck
if you haven't seen
out
the
of
show, click away.
Watch it now.
Yeah, and then come back.
I like seeing my friends who don't play video games watch the show.
Same. That's my favorite.
One of my
reaction,
friends on
seeing people who
Twitter,
haven't.
I was like, "Happy Last of Us Day on Friday,"
Yeah.
just to let people know that it's Last of Us Day today.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I just started watching it." Like,
So good.
I was like, "Wow."
I try to get everyone on, and anytime someone's like, oh, what should I watch? I'm like, Last of Us. Immediately, I'm like, you should watch it.
Before we continue to Last of Us, your mini, you're like, people stop watching old shows. If you've seen it twice, that's enough. And I
Yeah.
highly disagree.
Nah, if you've seen it twice,
I don't like you. I'm not that interested in you. I heard it's great. You say it's good. I just don't find the time to watch it right now.
For what? Watch what?
You.
Oh,
Netflix, yeah.
the new season of You. I thought you were literally talking about me.
This
I'm like, what are
reminds me of that
talking
clip on the
about?
news.
On the news, yeah. But it took her so long to catch on. I caught
Me? What? No.
I caught on a little bit faster.
Oh.
But yeah.
But
A lot of people not liking it. They not
Really?
At least
The first half of the season.
Yeah, from what I've seen on the internet and like TikTok, people are not fucking with this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like it, but it's really, for me not to like your show, it has to be really bad. If you give me like if at one point I'm like, ooh, like I'm interested or I'm entertained, I'm like, all right, it's good. Like it's that easy for me to like the show. It has to be horrendously bad for me to be like, I will not watch this show. This show is bad.
Can I tell you a show that I never thought I would like that I started watching?
What show?
Not started watching just now, but when I was in Mexico, I would see these YouTube shorts of House, the show.
The one with the doctor?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would only watch the shorts. So I feel like I watched the whole
Season of it.
the whole series in YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
And then I finally got to watching the episodes. I'm like, that's that one YouTube short. I'm like, that's the other YouTube short. And I'm like, some of them were like in the same episode. I was like, oh, that's the same episode. That's so crazy. So I feel like I watch
watched it
shows
by osmosis.
Yeah, exactly. and then that triggers me to watch the whole series, or like.
So you started watching it?
No, I already watched House. I like.
Oh, you finished
it?
it?
Yeah. But like, I went to Mexico like a year ago, and I would watch the YouTube shorts. But I feel like that's how I'm watching a lot of shows now. Like I told you jokingly that I've watched Big Bang Theory like a ton of times. I like the show. I put it on. I edit the minis while because I know what's happening. I know what to expect, and I feel like I can work while having something to consume because I could be like, I remember that scene, and I'll watch it. It'll end, and then I'll continue to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
With new shows, I can't do that
because you want to pay attention.
Because I want to pay attention, but then sometimes like this is what I said earlier when we had the conversation about having new episodes every week on streaming services. If that episode is bad and it's slow, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump on this. And I hate that there's no next episode to kind of bring me back on to the show. Because I feel like episode 4 for The Last of Us, before we skip too forward, then a lot of people who don't know about the universe could just be like, skip.
It was a lot of
the
filler.
Hype died, you know? And I think having filler too early is
it was
bad.
building that like new group type shit. Like, these are the new people, these are the group leaders, these are their backstories. Why is this person running away from this group of people? It was mostly that, and we weren't really with the main characters of the show. I mean, no, technically we had a lot of time with them and seeing them like interact and like getting more friendly toward each other, so that was good. But I understand why a lot of people didn't like that episode. I get it.
It's an excuse to stop watching the show. You know, it's an easy jump off point. So I feel like I've experienced a lot of shows like I can have the Big Bang Theory on in the background. No, but see,
with the difference between what I was saying in the mini, what you're saying is, I agree with you. If you're doing something else and you need something to like populate the noise or just like have something in the background that you could just like enjoy and like look at here and there. Yeah, if you've seen a show 17,000 times and that's your comfort show and you want to throw that on, whatever. I'm saying what I was saying is about people who are like genuinely to just sit down to rewatch a show over and over and over. Because I know a lot of females who do this, bro. Like a lot. Will rewatch Vampire Diaries, Grey's Anatomy.
Let them.
And no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I just think it's dumb when there's so many good shows that you can watch and
I think that's subjective though.
And like absorb new content instead of just being like, I'm going to keep rewatching the same thing over and over and over and actively pay attention and actively sit there, do nothing else but watch this show that I've seen 1,000 times, that I know what's gonna happen. There is no like suspense, there is no drama. Like I know, and for me at least, I'm like, I get it, but I don't. Like, to me, I can't sit and like, with me it would be like you. If I'm rewatching a show, it's like in the background type shit, and I already know what's gonna happen. It's whatever. It's a comfort show, and I'll watch it, whatever. But to sit down and rewatch a show that I've already seen, I can't do it. My brain will be like, we've seen this. We know what's gonna happen. There's no intrigue. I'm not entertained. Like, turn it off.
I actually like watching it. I'm rewatching The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I know what's gonna happen, but I feel safer. I'm like, oh, don't worry, he's gonna make it out of this.
See, with that show, I can't rewatch The Walking Dead, especially because
Carl's gonna be all right.
Especially because I hated the ending of The Walking Dead.
Did you watch season 11?
Yeah, I've watched all of The Walking Dead. I watched it through. I think I stopped watching when Negan was introduced, and then they killed off a certain character.
The second time.
No. It was during. It wasn't those. It wasn't.
You fuck. Walking Dead's been out for mad long.
All right. So when Negan's introduced, he kills off Glenn and Abraham, and it was
Yeah,
like
Glenn,
whatever.
That's second. That's
No, I know.
Glenn's second death. That's
But
what I'm
I don't know. See that the first death was stupid, but I also didn't care. I would have kept watching the show.
My friend called out sick the next day.
It was when they killed off Carl in the exact same season over some like stupid shit, like a zombie bot.
He got bit.
Bite,
He got bit. He got the Dale treatment.
But
did you know that they killed him off because they don't want to pay him an adult contract?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
I do know this. He spoke about this in
Did
our
we?
mini. Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about
Oh, you're talking about Dale
Lori.
or Carl?
No, Lori. No, Dale's character got killed off by a jump scare zombie in the most shitty way, right?
Yeah.
But they killed off Carl's character because he was a child when he first got onto Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Up to the age of 18, he's getting a child's compensation.
Oh, so he wanted more pay, and they were like,
he wanted the adult pay. He wanted to keep being. He wanted to
Yeah.
become Carl of the comics.
Yeah, exactly.
And the show was like, yeah. And then they were like, wait, we're not.
We don't want
We
to pay
can't
you?
fit this in while you're 17. Like, we can't do all this while you're 17 because of just naturally production timelines, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, no, we're gonna kill you off. That's easier
That's
to do.
kind of shitty, but yeah.
And you know what's crazy?
So when they killed him off, back to that is
Okay.
when I was like, yeah, I'm done with the show, because I remember I am a very
After
big,
that, it goes low for a long time.
I was a very very big fan of the comic books. I love
Damn, how you be reading shit?
because I'm a nerd.
No, but like how? Where's the time? I feel like you have no time. I feel like
I what?
but
I mean,
like,
I didn't.
I'm
read
trying
it.
to I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, how?
I didn't
you,
read it recently. I've read it a long time. It's been done. So I was reading the comic books, and I knew how important his character was, and I knew how important it was for him to become this type of. And I didn't like where they were bringing his character, but I was like, I'll give it a chance. It's a different type of adaptation. But then they killed him off, and I was like, well, now it's dumb,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, you just ruined the future of this comic book because that's who we follow in the future in the comic book.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So Rick dies.
Yes, Rick dies at the end of All Out War.
And who's the main villain?
Not
for
All
that?
Out War. I think it's during the Whisperer War that he dies.
Okay.
So and
they're in the show too, right?
No,
They get introduced.
but in the show they kill him off even earlier because Andrew Lincoln didn't want to be on the show anymore. He's like he wanted to do something else because he was on it for so long. And
he
again,
didn't get it.
and they kept doing that, and that's what I'm saying. The Walking Dead just started getting rid of character after character after character over shit just because it was behind the scenes and had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah.
And it was shit like that I'm like, I can't be committed to a show not knowing that all these actors are just like, oh,
It's
I don't want to.
HBO had the
That's
chance
what I'm saying.
to do the
take
show.
it? Oh, that sucks.
Early on, before we
should've.
got the HBO that brought us The Last of Us. That's why I
Yeah.
bring up The Walking Dead because I feel like subconsciously HBO learned from
What to
how
do
The
and what not
Walking
to do,
Dead
yeah.
was treated in the background. Because these execs talk, these execs have a kind of pride going on where like I want my network to be the best network. And the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead, I'm not to season 5
good.
yet, and I can tell you the first 4 seasons,
Pretty good.
like on my rewatch, are like 1 and 2 are very strong.
Yeah.
3 and 4 are very good.
Which one is the CDC season?
I'm not. Oh, that's the last episode of season 1.
I don't like the CDC season.
That's just the 1 episode. That's
Really?
Yeah, it's a standoff shit. They didn't know they were gonna get renewed for season 2. And so they tried to give you a little bit of everything for the first. It was only 6 episodes that first season, and the last one they were trying to explain and show you how the walkers work.
Yeah.
And they ended up retconning a lot of stuff because they were like, we regret, and they even
Using
said
the
it. We
CDC.
regret that we said this about the walkers because in the beginning they still had kind of intelligence where they would
Yeah.
like pick up rocks and
Rocks
like
and stuff.
bang
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
window, and then as the later seasons got, the excuse was because they're so like it's been a long time, their bodies are decomposing, that's why they're not as much of a threat as people, right? And that's why
You know how stupid that is?
the threat of people became more higher.
No, what I'm saying is the fact that they then again went back on that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last
then
season,
they
the
use
zombies are
rocks and
using
they
rocks and they're
climb and
climbing
shit,
and they're
yeah.
opening doors. So it's so stupid that they went back and then went back on it again.
They did, yeah. And that's just you fumble the bag
Yeah.
in the behind the scenes stuff. But I think HBO again with The Last of Us, it's only 9 episodes. That's a weird
That's first
a
season.
weird episode count to begin with.
Yeah, I
right?
feel like they should have went double digits at least.
But Walking Dead season 1 was only 6 episodes, and it was a very great.
Really?
It was a great season, and I can appreciate the low count for these storytelling shows, right?
Yeah.
Because the Last of Us is only 9 episodes. Walking Dead season 11 was like 24 episodes. 22 episodes, and people were so mad that it was so many episodes.
Yeah.
You didn't need that many episodes to tell the small amount of story that you ended up receiving, right? And I feel like a lot of these networks put that pressure on, like, we need more of this that's making us money. We don't need 9 weeks of money. We need 24 weeks of money. That's almost halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Like, we need a lot of money. And Arrow ran into that same problem where it started off with 16. When we made the switch to 22, or we had 22 and then we went down to 16, it somehow made it worse. Like, the quality got worse. They were trying to shove so much story. So you're either going to tell one long story between 22 episodes and hopefully you don't get too much bad episodes in between where people stop watching, or you get 16 episodes and hopefully you tell the story correctly in those 16 episodes. And what I think is The Last of Us being 9 episodes is a good episode number. I mean, I guess some people would like to see 10 because it's just even at that point. But I think the director who directed these last 2 episodes, I think the pacing was a little bit off. It might not be his fault. Again, I said Super Bowl was the past weekend. It might have been a scheduling conflict where, like, all right, instead of having this episode be 2 episodes as it is, we kind of wanted it to be 1, but we can split it up into 2 episodes and just be like, oh, because we gave you one on Sunday and then we gave you one on Friday. So it's technically not too much of a turnaround for that, right?
Yeah.
But I think that pacing was a little bit off for me. Just to be, I mean, I love the show. I love what it's doing. I love the changes that it's making. Yeah. But I would have liked to see better pacing from the guy because they show us the behind the scenes clips at the end of each episode. Yeah. And he makes a specific comment about wanting to tell a different kind of story or wanting it to tell it in the right way. And I feel like he completely missed the mark in the way they showed us the story. So now let's just jump in to episode 1 of The Last of Us. Okay. Episode 1 hit a little bit too hard because it was kind of frame for frame of the opening of The Last of Us
they just added more scenes.
They added that prequel scene.
My shit's rubbing off on you, bro.
Yeah, it is. But they added that to kind of show us what
life was like before the outbreak.
What life is like and how serious this kind of threat is. They mentioned it. The time was like the 60s or something.
Yeah, it was during like a 60s interview. Like, hey, listen,
it wasn't even an interview.
Down,
it was a lecture.
Yeah, if we don't
college.
buckle down with this
not even bunker down. They were just explaining, hey, if anything like this would happen, this would only happen under these conditions. Yeah. And the global warming, do we call that the global warming anymore? Yeah. I heard it was like,
is it a different name now?
Climate change, but that's the same thing. My sister was telling me it's not global warming anymore, and I'm not tuned in.
We're 2 boomers now.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't understand.
They were saying, like, hey, this is only going to happen under these specific circumstances. And guess what? We're heading in those specific circumstances. The earth is getting hotter. Winters are getting colder. Eventually, the winters are going to get hotter. And they're going to adapt to be able to survive in these nature. That's just the circle of life. That's evolution. Yeah. And so we got that scene, and it really kind of like brings us into reality for a second.
You're like, damn.
Like, this is a fictional show, a fictional game, but it really just hits us with some science to start with. And the people who get it, got it. You know, it's science. It's real life. This could happen. But the people who weren't that like knowledgeable about that, all of a sudden this show has you either like sitting up and forward, like wanting to go more, or has you laying back and thinking, is there shit like this out there? Yeah. Like there's actually like some, because he makes the example of like the ants, right? It takes over
the ant's body.
And the ant is there, and he's
conscious. He just can't do anything about it.
Anything about it. He's just living his life without any control over
until
it.
Like it starts like sprouting out of his head.
Yep.
And shit.
And it completely erases what it once was. So we get hit with that reality, and then we go and we're following a girl.
Joel's daughter.
What's her name again?
Sarah.
In the game, she's Sasha. White.
She's a white girl, yes.
And the
but
show,
also Joel's white in the show.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, in the game. And in the show, he's Hispanic.
And with a African American daughter.
Yeah, and then his brother's also Hispanic.
Yeah, which
so
is,
I'm guessing the wife.
I didn't notice until you said that just now.
Yeah, Diego Luna's Hispanic.
I didn't know, but I didn't really put it together.
Yeah, Tommy and Joe are Hispanic in the show.
I did not.
And I'm
realize.
guessing Joe's wife would have been black if his daughter is black.
I hate that.
Which is cool.
We don't get any information
No,
about
nothing.
her in the
not
game,
even not in the game or the show.
show.
Nothing. You never hear about his wife or his baby mama, whoever it was.
So this is my sister's reaction when we first played.
Has she ever played the game or no?
She played it with me. I would
Play
I
and
would
she-
play and
and
she
she
would
would
watch.
watch. Yeah, yeah.
I was the original YouTuber in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
I was like, you saw that? And so we're playing as Sarah. Her introduction to the game isn't that long.
Yeah, it's like a minute and a half, and then you give like Joe his birthday gift.
Yeah.
And you fall asleep,
And
and,
then
shit
there's
pops off.
cutscenes. Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
then shit pops off. Yeah.
And so I had no idea what The Last of Us was when I got the game. I don't think we really knew too much about it.
Like the most we knew with trailers is that it was a zombie survival game. That's all we knew. They wouldn't give us much, so it was a fresh like.
It's a fresh game. It's
and
a new IP
you would think like,
and
okay,
everything.
this is the protagonist. This is who I'm starting as.
Exactly. That's the point my
Yeah,
sister
yeah,
had.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was like, I can't believe they made us play as this girl and then they fucking killed her.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And it's the same.
Sarah's dead.
It's the same thing in the show.
The same thing in the show.
Starts off, we're following off her,
We're like,
with her
oh,
day.
she's funny. She's quirky.
She goes to school. She's helping out her neighbors. She's buying her dad a watch. She's we're
fixing her
following her.
watch.
Yeah, fixing his watch, right?
I'm like, okay, this is the protagonist of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
show.
That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to like trick you into thinking this is the person we're supposed to follow.
And we follow her for 40 minutes.
Because even if people heard about the Last of Us game, right? Most people who have never played it think about, oh, it's an old man and a woman and a little girl. And so they turn it on. They're like, okay, here's the old man.
There's the little girl.
the little girl.
I'm like, wait, he doesn't look that old. And then boom, we have a 20-year time
Yeah.
jump after
she gets murdered.
shit goes down.
Yeah.
And I was listening to, Game Theory.
Yes, Matt Pat.
He has film theory, and he was explaining the first couple episodes, and he was like, the scene we get in episode 2, where it's the lady in the shop, and she tells them what happened, right? But the flour and shit, how you're not supposed to eat flour. So he predicted that scene.
Yeah.
But his episode came out later. He's like, I was too late. This was my theory, and I was too late to post it.
Yeah, because a lot of other people started doing that theory. I saw it from other channels, and I was like, that's actually pretty smart because he didn't eat the muffins.
They didn't eat the biscuits that the lady offered, or the cookies.
Oh yeah, it was biscuits and cookies, not
exactly.
muffins. My bad.
The pancakes in the beginning.
The pancakes too. He was like, oh, we're out. And then when she said to get a cake, he forgot the cake. So they never ate.
He forgets
flour.
the cake in the game.
Yeah,
and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no one ever brings it up again. In the game, it's never. It's implied that it could be flour, but it's never outright said.
Exactly.
But in the show, it is. It is outright said that no, this is. They
that-
got into the flour. People ate it, and in a few days, they all got infected. Mm-hmm. And as infected do, they tend to bite people, and then those people bite people, and those people, and it just became a shit.
So Texas, Matt Pat said, it was either. I think he said it was wheat. That Texas is a big producer of wheat, and that's why it was hit so hard because they export the wheat out. Export the wheat out.
You're gonna get demonetized. It thinks you're saying weed.
So that's why shit hit the fan so fast.
Because in what episode 3 was he explaining it to Ellie?
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
When he first meets Ellie.
Yeah. No. When they're walking on the road, remember? And she's like, so how did the outbreak happen with monkeys? And he's like, no, flour. And he's like, and she's like, how did it like spread so fast? He's like, it took a week. The world was gone.
Yeah, that shit was.
That's like, think about that. A week and the world was.
You said something earlier in the car. You're like, imagine how fast COVID hit.
Yeah,
imagine like a zombie apocalypse.
With COVID, we had like a month and a half before it got to America, and even then, we prepared absolutely nothing.
No.
And then we got hit, and then it just became a global pandemic. So it's scary to me that we knew it was coming.
We knew it was coming, and we didn't do anything
not prepared
in real life. Like.
And then these people had no idea, and it hit them so quick and so hard that it was just gone. Everything gone in a week. That's nuts to me.
Do you realize the coasts are the first ones to drop? We saw Boston, how that looked like.
You're talking about the QZs, yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And in real life, that makes the most sense because we shit on these middle states for having nothing. It's like it's boring. It's just farmland. It's just fields.
Yeah.
Nothing around it. Gas is like $1.25 because
But there's less people out there.
there's less people, and
Less
that's
infected.
why Wyoming is so important in the show.
Because
There's nothing there. It's easier to settle. The winters are colder.
Yep.
Hopefully, the
I
cold
don't know
makes them slower.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
I
In the
wanna
games,
see if
in the
that's
games they do.
happens.
In the games they do get slower.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll.
I want
do
to
that
see
for the show.
if that happens. That's what I'm
Yeah.
really curious about. But that's what makes that kind of feel real, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense that since the middle states have nothing, it'll be easier to kind of
to
be
like clear
safer.
them out and then make a settlement. right?
Exactly. And
have no
start big
infected.
communities back
yeah.
up. And so that's really interesting to me.
Since you have so much land, you could start farming and water milling.
Stay
and stuff.
farming.
Yeah.
Like the farmers are
But I mean,
pretty much going to
like,
be
what
like
if there's wheat on the land? We
they'll
got to
just-
get rid of it.
I mean, I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know if they were told that it was wheat in time to like stop doing that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so that also could be like.
Has
leaving the
anyone
open-
eaten any type of wheat products since they've announced what
I
it
wanted
was?
to say that because
'Cause I haven't. I don't know if I've
in
noticed
episode
if they have.
2,
Does he eat a
while Joel and Tess was a character who was introduced in episode 1,
Yeah.
are eating beef jerky. Ellie's eating a whole ass sandwich.
And
A chicken
but she's
sandwich.
Immune. Yeah, I know, but she's immune.
So
Yeah,
she's
so
the
it makes
only
sense.
one
Who can
eating
eat
like
wheat.
shit like bread.
But why would they
and
still have bread
flour and
around?
stuff.
Is what I'm saying.
I have no
Why would
idea.
Marlene have bread around? I would literally throw all of it out. I would
don't
not
know,
keep it around.
I don't know how bread
survive for that
survives
long,
that long,
unless
or-
they're still producing wheat. And why would they if that's what got everyone killed?
I have no idea. Wait, Brent, I have no idea. But Ellie's eating a sandwich.
Yeah, she does eat a
and
sandwich.
No one.
She
eats
even makes
bread.
she makes a point about it. She's like, "What am I gonna do? Throw my fucking sandwich at them?"
Yeah.
because they wouldn't give her a gun.
No one eats anything else. Everything's like
Yeah, that's what I'm
jerky
saying. I'm trying
or
to
out of
think of like,
cans.
has anyone
She's the
eaten
only
bread?
person that's
Because they
eating
eat like
bread.
canned ravioli.
Yep.
They eat the beef jerky.
Beef
they eat
jerky.
the canned peaches.
Yep.
They eat the beef canned stew.
stew
So yeah, there's no like wheat
on anything
besides the sandwich that she was eating.
that she was eating,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is interesting. So that leads us to episode 2. We've got Tess
Yes.
with us
We get introduced to Tess
in episode 1.
Yeah, she's like being tortured by somebody, right?
Yep.
Because
Just like in the game.
she was trying to sell or trying to buy a car battery, right?
Yep.
From somebody.
She
and-
traded guns.
Yes. But in the show it wasn't. Did she trade
no,
guns?
No, she was trying to buy it outright.
Yeah, in the show she traded guns, and
in
then
the episode,
they
in the game, she traded guns.
yeah. I'm sorry guys, I keep fucking it up. But yeah, and in the show she's like, listen, you fucked up the deal, whatever. I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Like just let me go.
That was a lie.
It was a lie. She's like, let me go, and I won't send like Joel after you because
Yeah.
in the show at least it's very much stated that they are a romantic couple. They are romantically involved with each other. They've been together and they've been in each other's life for a very long time. While in the game, at least, it's only like kind of
Hinted at.
implied that they're like
barely.
together, but it's very bare. Like you can take it as like, oh, they're just really good friends. But with this, like, no, they live together, they sleep together, they wake up together, and the moment that he sees that she's hurt, he immediately reacts.
Jumps
right?
up. He's like,
Yeah. So like it's very clear that he's very protective of her and that was his woman. He just is a very
Doesn't wanna
closed off
say it.
person. Yeah, he's a very closed off person.
he doesn't
after-
want people to know that's
after
his woman,
his
so
daughter,
they don't
yeah.
go after him, or like
Oh,
they
yeah.
try to.
That is a good point
Kind of like
to
the
make.
Batman thing, where
That is a good point.
he tells
yeah.
Wonder Woman, he's like, I can never have
Batman-
a woman because they would get to me by going to her.
Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
What?
in the animated show.
Oh, Justice League. I was
Justice
like,
League,
they are
yeah.
almost never together, but in that show they were
and
together.
then she wanted that bat dick.
Yeah. Yeah, in
She
that
was-
show they were together.
She
I
was like,
remember.
I'm fucking Wonder Woman, bro. I don't need your protecting, okay?
True.
But so yeah, I feel like Joel could relate to that feeling of like I don't want anybody to know that I care about people, so
Yeah.
they don't use those people to hurt me.
But so she was in there. We get introduced to her, and then when she gets back to him, she immediately is like, "No, we're going after them. We're getting our fucking car back,
Yeah.
and we're gonna kill them." So and then that's where we start off, right? We start following Tess and Joel. We meet up at this meetup spot where he was supposed to be selling. The guy who beat her up was supposed to be selling the battery
The guns
to the
and the
Fireflies.
the batteries yeah.
to the Fireflies. But again, the battery was never
This
actually
shit
working.
was not real.
It was real, but it just never worked. He was just scamming everybody. But eventually it caught up to him, and he got killed by all the Fireflies.
Yep.
And Joel and Tess arrive, and they're like, he's already dead. The battery doesn't work. What the hell are we gonna do now?
And then boom, we hear a noise.
Boom. A little girl jumps out of a room with a knife.
Try to stab Joel. He throws her across the hall, like
effortlessly.
When I say throw, I don't want you to think like he just pushed her to the ground.
Nah, he tosses her.
Her legs leave the floor.
He like tosses her into the wall.
He threw her on the
kicks
wall,
her, and then kicks her knife
and
away.
she bounces off the wall and lands on the floor, and then he takes her knife away.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest introduction to a character.
For sure.
I think even better than the video game.
Yes.
I think I laughed so hard.
It's a very good one.
Because I can remember times playing the game and I'm with my sister and Ellie does something and I'm like, fucking Ellie. And as soon as he throws her and she hits the wall, I'm like, fucking Ellie. And then my sister said, hey, that's
what I
the shit
noticed
you used
though?
to say.
He stands like Mando with his gun, and it was I was cracking the hell up. I didn't notice, bro. Because like in the games, Joel always holds his guns with both hands, and he like knows how to use a gun. But for some reason, the way Pedro held the gun in that scene, he was holding it the way Mando does when he's like in the suit.
At the hip?
Yeah, at the hip like this. And I was like, no way, this man hit the Mando stand in this show.
Universes are connected.
Funny as hell. But yeah, so
Earth is in Star Wars.
They meet Ellie, and then the leader of the Fireflies is like, "Hey, listen, I can get you a battery, I can get you a car, I can get you supplies. Just please
bring this
girl here." And they're like, "No." And then they walk back. They have a little conversation, and then Tess convinces Joel, like, "Listen, it's cargo. We can do this. It's easy. We get her there. We get everything we wanted." And he's like, fine.
Tommy.
Yeah. And
the reason is because he needs the car battery to get into a car and look for his younger brother.
Yeah. Who's we'll get to it later.
We'll get to that.
So they agree to it, and then they start making their way out of the QZ
as a group.
As a group, yes. And they get caught by a guard that we were introduced to a lot earlier that Joel was selling drugs to.
He's a drug addict.
For ration cards, right?
Yeah.
And so he gets caught by him, which he told him not to be out at that time because he's like, I got to do my job. And if I catch you, I got to do my job.
Don't go out, period.
Yeah.
For an amount of time because we're cracking down. It's going to be harder. And don't put me in a weird spot that I have to do my job.
And he did.
And Joe didn't fucking listen.
He got caught by him. And then the guy was like, dude. And then he puts him on his knees.
Puts them all them on their knees. He takes out this weird.
If it wasn't for Ellie, I think they would have just been shoot back into the QZ. But because she was marked as infected, he was like, "Oh no, I have to kill her." Right? Because most
you're
most people.
Wrong.
What do you mean?
They were on their knees.
Oh no, she stabs him, right?
Joel is talking.
Yeah,
he's trying to defuse the situation. He's like, "Hey man, we're just trying to get out. Like we're trying to do this," and he's like, "Bro, I've told you, don't fucking come out of here because you're gonna put me in a bad spot, and now I have to fucking report this." So he's about to report this. But he gets them on their knees.
Like
he does offer them. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, I'll give you the shit for free, bro. Like, don't even give me anything.
I'll give you the pills like half off." He's like, "Half off? It's free now.
Yeah,
if I let you go, and I want whatever the hell you're doing."
And now they're scanning. Yeah. Now he starts to scan everybody. And when he gets to Ellie, she stabs him.
Yeah.
And then
shit breaks off.
Shit breaks off. Joe kills him.
Yep.
By beating the fuck out of her.
But why does he do it?
Because he's about to kill Ellie. He's about to shoot Ellie.
And he doesn't want to be responsible for
a child's death.
Yeah, again. So he like.
But that's not the reason.
No,
no. Listen,
it's like PTSD type shit.
That's not the reason. He doesn't verbatimly know that yet. It was just natural instinct that puts him back in a position where he wasn't able to help his daughter, and subconsciously he just jumped into it. You know, eventually we kind of like, as the episodes progressed, that we kind of like, he didn't want that to be Ellie.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a reason for that yet to care that much, but he knew he was there in a situation with a little girl in the same exact spot that he lost his little girl, and then he just saw red and he beat the fuck out of that guy's face.
Crazy, and Ellie smiled like a psychopath.
Yeah, because Ellie has never had anybody care about them that way. Even though she can't exactly say that about Joel, she can't say.
I mean, she's had someone care about her.
At that point, she can't say, I am being protected. You know, no one has ever tried to protect her. Again, the closest thing that we could have had as a protector was the leader of the Fireflies.
And someone that they haven't introduced
yet.
She
shoved her away. She shoved her away.
Yeah.
She was like, go with Joel and Tess.
Yeah.
They'll handle you. I'm fucked up right now. So she failed at protecting, And so we get that scene at the end where she is like smiling like a psychopath because she feels protected. And the creators
also
of,
she
the creators of the
enjoys
show
killing.
and the game say that Ellie has this overwhelming need to feel protected because that's
Yeah.
just the child part of her. She wants to have a parent, a guardian, someone to protect and look over her. So she longs for that. She verbatimly says that she doesn't want to be left alone. And part of that
Yes, one of the most recent, she says that her biggest fear is to be left alone. That's
part of
very
that
powerful.
is
Yeah, I
the-
never connected the two things.
is
But yeah.
the like I'm a child. I
Yeah.
want a parent.
Yeah.
I need a parent, especially in this shitty fucking world
yeah.
with how things are going.
Yeah, I get you. I agree.
And then we kick off.
Episode 2.
No,
That was the end of episode 1,
we
right?
blurred the 2 episodes already.
Did we?
I think so, because we don't get that far in episode 1. Because episode 1.
That was episode 2. Then
yeah.
that was the end of episode 2.
So for this episode 2, it ends.
with that, right?
No,
The-
it ends
the
with
beating.
Tess dying.
No.
Yes.
So wait.
Episode 3 was Bill and Frank, which we'll
You're
get
right.
into
No,
in a
you're
minute.
right. So at the end of episode 1 was the beating. End of episode 2 was Tess's death.
Tess's death.
Okay.
And at the halfway point, we had that scene in the building.
Yeah.
In the building where Tess ultimately gets bit.
Yes.
Joel still doesn't really believe that Ellie is the cure because
He's
she
immune, yeah.
she showed them her bite mark and it looked healed.
Exactly.
It looked like a little burn mark. It looked like a scab, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
And so after they escape that building, they're in that Capitol building, and Ellie notices that Tess is
Tess
Bill
has been-
because Tess is
yeah.
being desperate. She's like,
Yeah,
"You
she's
need
like,
to
"We
finish
need to
this
finish,"
job.
yeah.
This job needs to be done." And then Joel's like, "Why? Let's just
can
fucking
just go
cut
back
our
home,
losses and
yeah.
go home."
And
She's like,
"There
"I
is no
can't
home
go
there,"
home
yeah.
for me."
Yeah.
And then she reveals the bite mark on her neck, and it looks like shit. Like it's only been like 25 minutes,
It's
and
pretty,
it looks
pretty quick,
bad.
especially if you remember in episode 1 when the little kid got introduced to the Fedra base. If you look when he's being wheelchaired in, there's a
girl.
sign that tells you like, oh, if you get bit from the neck up, it's like 10-15 minutes. From the body up, it's like 25 to 30 minutes. Leg up, like an hour to like 3 hours long. So like it is very consistent with that. You can tell that, oh, she got bit here. She doesn't have that much longer to be a regular person before she like switches. So it's really cool that they like kept the continuity that they established.
there's something
in
you
episode
could
1.
easily forget.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't, and it was really cool that they did that. And that scene weirded me out a little bit, but I understand why. Is the like
kissing.
her like accepting the death or like becoming part of the hive and like it kissed her instead of bit her. It was like okay, but I under like the way they explained it at the end of it. It was the fact that they're the way Neil Druckmann said is that the cordyceps virus has no need to be violent if you're accepting of it. So it won't be violent to you if you're just accepting the death.
Exactly.
It would just kiss you and now you're infected. But
I
if
mean,
you're like
it looks like a
resistant-
kiss because the
little spore thing.
spore things are naturally in your brain.
Yeah.
And they would, I guess, it come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It would have been weird if it was the eyes and the nose and shit too, but that's a little too, I think,
nasty.
scary for TV.
But yeah, that's one thing that I was like, ooh, I don't like that. It made me uncomfortable. I was like, don't kiss. Ooh. Because she was like trying to light the thing, but the dude was getting back close to her.
So
and I
she was
like,
trying to
ooh.
buy Joel and Ellie some time
time,
to
yeah.
escape the building when a massive herd of them were approaching. And
Yeah.
in her last human instinct, she finally got the lighter lit.
Yeah.
Building is set on fire, explodes eventually because there's a bunch of grenades and shit on the ground.
It's like there was like gasoline, grenades,
Yeah, everything.
everything around.
She really
yeah.
went out with a bang. Sponsored by Bang Energy. But so, just okay.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So that's how we end that episode.
Yeah.
And they're on the road to meet a contact they had, Bill and Frank.
Bill and Frank.
That's what she tells them. They need to get to Bill and Frank, and
That
they'll help
They'll
them
know what they do. Yeah.
get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And then we go into episode 3, which
Wild roller coaster.
which
ride.
it took us off the path,
Yeah.
off the story. It was not in the game.
No.
This
Bill was a completely different character.
Bill and Frank at the
Hated
end of
each
their
other, yeah.
at the end of the time we see them on the Last of Us video game.
They hated each other.
Frank is dead. Dead completely. Hung himself after multiple bites. Bill finds him, calls him an asshole and a dickhead for wearing the shirt he's wearing. They had no love between them. It was love
at
lost.
The end. Yeah, at the end.
Love lost, and it seems like it was lost pretty fast. In this version, because
'cause if you read
the
their
suicide
letters-
note that he left, it was different.
Yeah, absolutely different. But in the game, at least, when you read Frank's note, it's about how much he hated Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I don't remember the exact words, but they didn't.
No,
like each other.
it was. I watched a YouTube short about it,
recently?
and he was like
Like,
violating
really? Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah,
he
he
was
didn't-
like, "You're a piece of shit."
Yeah, it
You
was
were-
really, really
You
hateful,
never
yeah.
loved me. Like you're the worst human I've ever met. And
Yeah,
that's saying
yeah.
a lot. And that's saying a lot about humanity at that point, right? Because
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's been 20 years into like the zombie apocalypse, and he tells him he's the worst person
Yeah.
on this planet.
So much so that he left the comfort of like the
Security and safety.
and got bit just because he didn't want to spend time with Bill. That's insane.
And then hangs himself
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that he knew he would find it, and he knew he would find the note.
Yep.
And Ellie reads it. And as the player, we get to hear about it and read it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But episode 3, these are my raw reactions to it, and I wrote them down as soon as like I watched episode 3. Okay. I said, The Last of Us episode 3 generally made me want to off myself. Currently now, I don't ever want to grow that old and love someone so much I wouldn't be able to handle losing them. It was a beautiful, touching connection that seeing them struggle to do things they were doing 5 minutes ago really drove me to a point that time changes people, but we can never change how time is.
Yeah.
And I was like, that fucking sucks, because that whole episode, it was. We were
But you
watching
wouldn't
this-
want that type of
We
love?
were watching that story, but I couldn't. I would do what Bill did. I would, if my partner
I
was
agree.
old
I would-
enough.
yeah, I
which
would
I don't
too.
want to. I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about that too soon.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I ever felt that in love and had that, kind of connection, especially with the circumstances of how the world is.
Yeah.
We can say the world is pretty shitty right now, how it is right now.
Yeah.
It's not shitty as in there's fucking a threat of zombies everywhere
yeah.
right now, but there are certain things in this world that we can't control. We never could control.
Yeah.
It's out of our power to do things. We can only live our life how we need to. But I was like, damn, especially under those circumstances, these two
They found
people
love.
found each other.
Yeah.
Not in the best way. Like,
Yeah.
Bill is a survivalist.
Yes, a survivalist, and he doesn't believe
Doomsday
or
prepper.
trust
Doesn't trust the
yeah.
government. Doesn't trust people.
Well, which by the way, in that world, paid off. It paid off.
It paid off very well. He had
Yeah.
his whole neighborhood that he lived
Yeah,
in to himself.
as they all got like
shipped off to
shipped
get
off to
killed.
get killed. Yeah, he
They
stayed.
weren't even
he stayed in the
rescued.
bunker.
They
yeah.
were executed.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough space.
And
in
we
the
see the
QZs.
confirmation later on as
Yeah.
we kind of jump back to Jelly.
Joe and Ellie.
Joe and Ellie's perspective, where
And
they
you see like a pile of dead bodies.
piled
yeah.
their bodies with a blanket, and
Oh,
we
it
saw
was a
that
baby.
scene earlier.
Yeah, with the baby.
with the baby in that same blanket.
So yeah,
So he was right in not trusting anybody.
for sure.
And just seeing them, like literally when I say they were doing stuff that they were doing 5 minutes earlier, but meanwhile we got a time skip of like 10 years or
Yeah.
something, and they've aged quite drastically.
While I was watching the episode, I was like, they can't make Bill this old. He wasn't this old in the game. Like while I was watching it, I was like,
yeah.
if you make him this old, he can't help them. He'll be an old, decrepit man.
Yeah.
I was watching it, but then the reveal, like, oh no, he's not even alive. I was like,
he's
oh.
dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
There's a scene in this beautiful story, and we're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
do it justice at all.
No,
if
yeah.
you don't care about The Last of Us, you can watch episode 3
and
as
it's
a standalone
it's a
thing.
standalone. Wow. Fuck cops.
Whoa. They're going to serve and protect us. Okay, you can watch episode 3 as its own standalone thing. You could just ignore the stuff about the
Yeah.
man and the child walking around. You could literally watch that as its
a
own
beautiful
standalone
story,
thing.
yeah.
Nick Offerman plays Bill.
Great
Great
actor.
casting.
Yeah,
I don't know
great
who
actor.
plays Frank, but he was pretty good at it
He's
too.
really good. Yeah.
But the story that it tells about kind of like
A beautiful love story, and it's one that even the characters, not the characters, the director
actors,
said,
yeah.
is that this is the one moment in this show that you can feel good about the love, because a lot of the other times that they're depicting love, it's very violent, it's very ugly, right? Because love can bring you to do such beautiful things, but also to do such very very
their
ugly
love
things.
was ugly too.
At times, yeah,
They
they would fight.
They had the regular spouts as you would
Yeah,
have
yeah,
in a
for sure.
relationship, but
But they were still they loved each other very
Frank
much.
fought
yeah.
for it.
Yes,
And it made Bill fight for it.
Yeah.
And it made Bill notice, like, okay, I hear you.
yeah.
I've never done this before. I've never been in a relationship. I was a fucking doomsday prepper. Like I didn't get no bitches.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, he said, I've been with
bitches.
one woman before, but it was very
And
clear.
he didn't like it.
He said that he was very clear that like he didn't like
wasn't
even to
for him.
Frank. Frank saw we knew him for like what 20 minutes or
like,
something. He was like, "You like men, bro?
You
You
fruity.
just like he like you fruity, just like me. I know it."
He's like, you just like me for real.
Um,
So we see in the beginning stage of the relationship, Frank reaches out to a woman that he did not know who it was. Tess
on a radio,
on a radio, and they start communicating like it's
Back and forth.
like it's the good old days before the phone and shit. So like a
Yeah.
little bit before that, right? They're like on the radio talking, like a CV radio, and he eventually invites them to his
their
settlement,
to their safe haven,
to the safety.
where like there's chat. Oh, by the way, we never even brought that up. So Bill, since he is a doomsday prepper, he like set up his whole town to have traps, have reusable energy, have water. He has like cuts of meat in like a thing. So like he literally is living lavishly in this town by himself before Frank comes in.
And that's why he didn't get infected either.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really eat shit like bread.
He was
like,
eating
I'm eating
like
meat.
Yeah.
Meat and potatoes. He was that guy.
So so when
we see Frank, he gets trapped in one of those.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
non-lethal
the
one.
non-lethal
Oh,
trap where he
thank
has
God.
to come out and kill
Yeah.
whatever drops in there. So once they've become a couple after they had this beautiful moment between the two of them in a piano, so
and then they get a sex scene that lasts a little too long.
It does last a little too long, but it's whatever.
I was like, are they gonna like fuck? Like I feel like it was like the bit before porn.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
skip.
yeah. Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like,
it was like
is
that
it-
awkward energy. You're like, can y'all just fucking get it over with? Because I'm uncomfortable with y'all. But yeah, so
I'm like, I haven't done this either, too.
after that part when they're like more and they jump cut, they're like
few
more.
years. Yeah.
They're more of a couple now. They're like actually together, and so Frank is now like, listen, I understand we have all of this, but dude, there's more to life than just surviving between me and you. We could have outside friends. We can make life beautiful again. We don't have to just be us two. And he's like, no,
in that
I don't want
perspective,
friends. Yeah.
Bill did not care about the building surrounding his
Correct.
house.
Yeah.
And Frank is like, I want to make the shit look good. I
Yeah.
don't care if it's just me and you,
Yeah.
but like, let's treat our home with
yeah,
love. Like,
exactly.
It's
It's
not
like, we
your
don't
home
have to-
anymore.
yeah.
It's not my home. It's our home. And if we
Exactly,
just
exactly.
painted it a little,
Made it
gave
look like
some
it's in an
care,
apocalypse, it'd be great.
it'd be great. Like
Our
we'd be
mood wouldn't
fine.
be so shit. So he then starts communicating with Tess, like Nando said earlier. And Bill's against it. He's like, no, why are you bringing in people? Because like
We don't know them.
the last time people came over, there's raiders. You don't understand. Like people can come here and like take everything from us. And he's like, no, like trust me. Like if you trust me enough and love me enough, like trust me that these people are good people. And he invites them over to his like little sanctuary. They have dinner.
They had like brunch.
Yeah, they
it
had,
was
like,
like
a
the
little
middle of the
dinner,
day. They
yeah.
had like a little some mimosas.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
drinking
yeah.
wine.
And then like Joe and
The
Bill
wives
having like
were
yeah.
getting along, and then the
Bill and Joe
husbands
were
were
like
just staring at each other.
Yeah, staring hard dog, and
Nick
just, like,
Offerman had
has
the
a
Glock
gun
on
yeah,
the table.
on the table. And then they walk away. And
Pedro
then,
Pascal's like, "Yo, point that shit somewhere else."
Exactly. Once the girls walk away, he's like, "If you don't move that gun, bro, like stop pointing it at me." It's like, and then he's like, "You know what? I'm afraid of you, bro. You're right."
He's like, I'm not afraid, but like, I respect that you called me out on this.
and
this is the key moment that happens
Yeah.
between them. So they acknowledge that, like,
that they're
without
both
saying
that they're both very
protectors,
capable. Yeah.
and they're capable of handling things in this world,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And then Joel, Pedro Pascal, says something that leaves Nick Offerman, Bill, like a little like afraid.
Yeah.
He's like, your fence is starting to fuck up.
yeah.
It's starting to corrode. I can get you 10 spools of the best fucking steel
Aluminum
or whatever.
he said. Yeah.
I get you 10 spools of that. That'll last you your whole life.
He's like, and this is the deal. You can get me what you have, right? The food, the guns, all the stuff that you have in this community, and I'll get you stuff that you can't get.
So he ends that sentence like it could last you your whole life. Oh, I'm sorry, your whole lives.
Yeah.
And then he throws Frank in there
Because he knows that he's a protector now.
he's a protector
Yeah.
and he wants to protect Frank. And then Bill's like, I don't fucking like you, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then that opens up
Their relationship.
The relationship between the two duos.
Yeah. And then as they're walking out, Joe says, "Listen, if you ever need help, call me. Like there's gonna be people that want what you have. Like, look how beautiful this is, right? And
They're
if
gonna come in
yeah,
and take it by force.
exactly.
And they're not gonna want to share.
And
it with
literally
you.
that happens in like
the next scene. And
It's
that's
like,
where I wanna lead
There's like
into.
another time skip.
We get a time skip, and Frank is sleeping.
Yeah.
Like the princess he is. He deserves to sleep.
Yeah.
And then all you hear is shots, gunfire,
explosions.
Yeah. What Joel has said has come true. Yeah. And it's not that he jinxed it or anything like that. That's just the nature of the people living in this world.
In a world where it's kill or be killed. It's like limited. Survival, yeah.
What the fuck? The zombie apocalypse is happening.
Bro, we cannot catch a break today, bro. Fuck.
I'm keeping all that in. I think it'll be funny. What does that siren do?
It's literally a fire alarm. So whenever there's a fire around.
Meanwhile, the window is closed.
Yeah, and they go to whatever they're going to. So
okay. So again, we said it's killed or be killed.
Yes.
Limited resources.
Yes. So people do crazy stuff.
People are desperate.
Yeah, people are desperate.
Everybody.
I would, if I saw a community that looked that well, I'd be like, yo, why don't we jump this person and take all his shit?
Everybody is the savior in their own eyes in this universe. Yes. And Bill is defending the community. The gates have this mechanism that sets people on fire. It's pretty dope scene. People are like literally getting their legs broken in the process, and then Bill gets shot
because he was standing in the middle of the street like an idiot.
I feel like it was a stray bullet. It wasn't even like meant to hit him, and I think that makes the scene a little bit more impactful. Because he is standing in the middle of the road, not really where.
Someone who's trained with a gunshot.
If you're getting set on fire and shit, and like you're watching people like get set on fire next to you, you're not really aiming at Bill. Bill is getting free shots in. Like people are more worried about the immediate threat of what's happening to themselves.
Okay.
And so I think he got hit with a stray bullet, and that's what made the shit even a little bit scarier because everybody was being handled by these traps. Literally, no one survives the attack because of those traps.
Yeah.
And because Bill was sniping a few people.
And then what's his name comes out too? Frank
comes out with this little ass fucking baby gun. Like he wasn't doing shit with that thing. That shit was meant for last resort's close quarter combat. Let's be real with that. He's not sniping nobody.
That's Ellie's gun now.
With that fucking little baby gun. She's not sniping anybody. She hasn't sniped anyone. Like exactly. She's again. She hasn't even. No, she has hit somebody. It's for close quarters, last resort, defend yourself, and that's why we're gonna go fast forward a little bit. That's why Joel eventually ends up giving it to her. He's like, "You saved me in this little close quarter combat. Here, take this for those reasons." He doesn't outright say it, but he's like, I need you to be protecting yourself too, in case I can't. Right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that. He's out there with a little fucking water gun, and he brings back in Bill, and he tells him Bill is like trying to be distracted, like so he doesn't bleed out too much. And as Frank is saving him, he's like, "All right, I left a note of things that you need to remember, things you need to do." Joel. And he's like, "All right, tell me about this stuff." He's like, "All right, you need to get on the radio. You got to call Joel. He'll come. He'll protect you." Yeah. Like. He was so worried that he was gonna die
and wouldn't be able to protect that moment. Yeah,
and he's like, "You need to call Joel. You need, like that's one of the first important things he says." Frank asked him about what's on this list. Yeah, clearly he had a list that you need to turn this off when you do this shit like that, right? But he's like, he eventually goes out to you need to call Joel. Call Joel, get him over here.
He'll take care of everything.
He'll take care of you.
Yeah,
and then we get that time skip.
Yeah, again,
there's a person in a wheelchair, and we're like, "Fuck."
It's
Bill in the wheelchair. He got fucked that night
because of the bullet,
and then that's what we're thinking. Out to be Frank,
and Bill is perfectly fine. He got that bullet out.
He got the meat and potato. Body,
he's fine, bro.
He's Gucci.
But Frank is now
Frank
Frank
has like some kind of like
it's cancer. No, it's cancer.
One of those. I don't know
because the way the way he describes it is that even in the real world there was no cure, that it would have killed him even if the zombie apocalypse wasn't happening.
I think there's no cure for ALS even with medicine.
But you can treat it, right?
I think cancer with right now you can treat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'll just have it.
Whatever it was, he was slowly dying.
He was dead. And he had dead to rights.
Yeah, and he said that his life just became difficult. Like he wasn't living, he was surviving, and he was like, "This is my last day." Like he wakes up. And he tells his husband, like, this is my last day, dude.
And he does something that Bill doesn't want him to do. So Bill takes him to the bed the night before.
Yeah.
He helps him get into bed.
Yeah.
And then he usually gets him out and puts him back in his chair.
He got himself out.
But he got himself out, and he says, this took me like 6 hours to do.
And he sat there for mad long, just waiting for his husband to wake up. And that's then so like you're saying, so when he wakes up, he tells him like, hey, listen, like this is it, this is my last day, and whether you like it or not, I'm gonna end it. So
he's like, this is my last day, we can end it fighting, or you can give me the best day of my life.
Yeah, and that's really sweet.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that shit hit me too. I was like, oh.
I paused it and I was like, talking to my sister, I was like, fuck, I can't even see the show anymore. Like, it's all fucking blurry. She was like, me too. And I was like, all right, so we need like fucking 2 minutes to like fix ourselves, like get it together.
And so that's what he does.
And they have the cutest wedding.
Yeah, the cutest little day.
He takes him like shopping.
Yeah,
for, like,
he gives him a tux. They each get a tux. They like marry each other. They cook the dinner that he cooked them originally when they first got there. He cooks it for him again.
He remembered after 20 years.
And then he tells him, he's like, listen, you get the best wine you have. You take these pills, you crush them up, put them in my glass. And you just lay me to sleep. Let me die in your arms. Mm-hmm. Right. And then Bill's like, you can't like really expect me to do that. He's like, if you love me, you would. And that's what convinces him. He's like, I do love you.
And I will do this.
And I will.
But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this for us.
Exactly. And we don't even. I had a glimpse of it, but I had a glimpse of like, I think he's gonna kill himself. And then when we get to that dinner table, right? He's talking about it, and he's like, just to let you know, like the whole bottle. The whole bottle was.
I put enough pills in the bottle to kill a fucking horse.
It's to kill both of us. Like we're both drinking it. I just double dosed you, if anything, because he pours the little thing
for show. It's pretty much
cup.
For show.
Yeah,
it's like, here, this is what you wanted.
Yeah,
but what
also,
I want to be with you.
Yeah.
As well. I don't want to live alone.
So exactly. What's the line was so beautiful. I'm trying to remember it. He's like, I'm old. I've lived enough, and like something like that. And he's like, and
I'm happy.
Good. Like I'm happy.
I'm happy with my life. Yeah. Like how it turned out.
Like, and if you leave, I'm just gonna be sad. There's nothing for me to be here anymore. Yeah. So I'm okay to die. And then Frank is like, I don't know whether to be angry at you or to be happy with you. Like that is.
Or was that romantic? Or was that
like,
stupid?
Yeah, like he's like that's one of the most romantic things someone's ever done to me. But I'm also like I don't know how,
that you did that. Like you need to live.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't want to live without you.
It's so beautiful. Like they sit there, they drink, and then they just go upstairs and cuddle, and they just pass away together. And then we jump back to like Joe and Ellie finally going
after we fucking saw the whole life,
the most like traumatic experience. You're like sitting there crying for what just happened. You're like, bro, what?
Like I forgot the show was about these guys.
And then we jump back to like Joe and Ellie arriving at Bill's house, and Joe's like, where is everybody? Like he's like yelling, Bill, Frank, trying to find it. Then he goes to the bedroom, and the bedroom is locked, and he's like trying to budge it open. And then Eddie's like, Joe, I found the letter, and
because Joel tells her, stay downstairs. I don't know what's upstairs. And she finds the letter.
She finds the gun, right? Or
no, she finds the letter first,
and then the gun.
She reads the letter to Joel because Joel doesn't want to read it.
Oh.
And at the end of that letter, Bill's like, hey, I never really liked you, but you and me. There's two kinds of people in this world. There's people like you and me who are protectors, who are meant to take care of people, of our partners, whatever. He's like, and make sure you take care of Tess. And Ellie reads that, and then Joel is like gut punched at that point because he's like,
she passed away.
I failed that. I failed protecting
my daughter. I failed protecting my partner.
My partner.
Yeah.
And it hurts him to the core. Yep. And at this point, he shuts off. Ellie wants to talk about it. She's like, hey, we should talk about this. Like, because she's like, I don't want you to be cold. I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you. Again, it ultimately leaves to like, I don't want you to be compromised in a way where like, I am possibly in danger too.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I need you to be okay. I want you to be okay because I see you as my protector.
Yeah.
And I want you to be able to protect me. And so he takes the letter out. He's reading it in the front yard. He crumbles it up. And then he goes back inside. He tells Ellie, he's like, hey, they've got clothes and stuff. Let's change our clothes.
Let's take a shower. We
gotta take a shower.
Get some supplies.
Joe gets the iconic shirt that he wears. Ellie gets the iconic red shirt that she wears. And as she's changing, because clearly Joel can't fucking be there while she's doing that. And that's where she finds Frank's gun.
Yeah, Frank's little water gun.
And so she takes the water gun.
It's not actually a water gun, by the way, if no one caught on.
It's a tiny fucking baby gun.
It's like it's a real gun. It's a real gun.
It can still kill you.
It's just small, yeah.
But it's tiny. And so she puts in her pack. They go downstairs.
Which, by the way, this whole time she's been asking for a weapon, and Joe kept saying no. Joe and Tess kept saying no.
Part of Joe wants him.
Because even when they got there and they found the wall of weapons, she asked.
She's like, hey, can I have one of these? And he's like, no.
So then when she finds this one, like the baby gun in like a drawer, she just immediately hides it. She's like, I'm
She's like,
gonna
this
put
is
it in my bag.
shit. And then Joel walks in and it almost catches her.
Yeah.
There's people who think that he might have saw that and he just let it slide anyway. He's like, fuck
No,
it.
I don't think he saw it
Because
he was surprised when
he
was surprised when she shot the guy like the next episode, and then he takes it from her. He's like, oh,
he's
and then he gives
less
it back.
surprised. He's more of like, I didn't want you to do that.
Yeah,
You're a child. You shouldn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go on their merry way. Instead of going to Pittsburgh, the story verges off and they go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And that's where episode 4 takes place.
Which is the one that you don't like that much.
I think it's a bad episode.
I don't think it's a bad episode. I just think it was.
I think what we got.
It was not as good as 3. That's
what
for
we
sure.
got in terms of development of story for Joel and Ellie didn't outweigh the time that the episode was. It was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And like 6 of those minutes had meaningful progression between Joel and Ellie. We have the camping scene where they're getting to know each other a little bit.
Yeah.
They introduced that pun book.
Yes, and they also introduced
they're bonding over Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, and they also introduced the fact that he catches on that she's actually very scared when she's like, "Are we safe here?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then
that puts that seed of doubt.
Yeah, and then he's like, fuck. And then he gets up and just watches.
Does not sleep. He says, we need to sleep.
The whole night he just watches.
And then we'll drive all day tomorrow.
He like guards her, which is really beautiful that he does that. And then wakes up, just drinks coffee and goes and then he has to drive like another 13 hours, which is insane. And he's just chilling. And she falls asleep again. She falls asleep in the car while she drives.
Which is part of the game.
I know it is,
but
that's insane that like out of all that time that she kept falling asleep and he still hasn't slept. Because he just kept drinking coffee and going.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have that moment together in the campgrounds. Then they wake up. He drinks coffee. They start driving down, and then they also have a really cute scene in the car where she finds Bill's like nudie mags or whatever, and it's like gay porn mag, and then she's like, "Ooh, what's this?" And he's like, "Please don't read that." He's like, "Stop." He's like, "Don't look at that."
She's like, "How do you walk around with that thing?"
He's like, "Throw it out," and she's like, "Yeah, in a second." And so that's directly from the game too.
That's a nice scene too, because she's like, she throws out the magazine and she's like, "Goodbye, dude."
Yeah,
and that's an indication. What I think it has a double meaning. It's like goodbye, the fucking big dick guy in the magazine, and it's also like a goodbye to Bill. She's like, "Bye, dude," because Bill gave them a car.
Even though she never met him.
Even though she never met Bill in this universe, in the show, right? In the game, they have this whole back and forth. They have like scenes together. Yeah. They're getting to know her. So in the game, she's like, "Bye, Bill." Like, bye the magazine, as in like, "Bye, Bill." In the show, she's like, "Bye, dude." She throws away the magazine. It's the same line from the game. And she's like, in like the "bye, dude" is signifying "bye" the magazine. And also like, "Bye whoever's home we just left, bye." Like as a bye as well. And I think it's kind of nice in the game. It makes a little bit more of a emotional meaning where it's like, "Oh, bye, Bill," the guy who, even though you're fucking crazy, you lost a lot of stuff, but hey, thanks for helping us out and saving Joel. Because there's a key scene in the game where Bill comes and saves Joel, and that's when we're introduced to Bill.
Down, he gets caught in one of his traps.
Exactly. And it's in the same tone too. It's like a happy, cheerful, "Goodbye, dude." And I think in the show it could just be like, "Hey, bye," like to a guy she never met, but she's thankful,
like melancholy,
and she's thankful that like even though he wasn't there, he still helped.
He still helped.
So I think it's a nice thing.
And then after that, we get introduced to him like, what is he like, siphoning gas out of cars in Kansas City to continue the drive. And she pulls out the book again and she starts reading from the book again, and he's like, "Please stop." And he's like giggling about it and he's like hating it, but she's like, "This is like awesome." Like,
he's more like, "I hate that this is funny."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "I hate that this is actually like making me smile, making me laugh." It's like he's trying his best to distance himself from her because he keeps calling her cargo, and like you're not.
She notices.
Yeah, like you're not that important to me. Like I'm just doing a job. I need the car. I need to find my brother, right? And he's slowly warming up to her as much as he doesn't want to. Right, so that's what it's so cute to see them like interact and be like really like father daughter type relationship that they have together. And so they're driving, they get the siphon gas and they keep driving. Then they go to this roadblock where like it's a giant like food truck that's wheat, by the way. It's a giant food truck of wheat blocking Kansas City, which by the way I think that was done on purpose. I think the people did it so that they can. No, I'm saying I think the group in Kansas City did that on purpose so that you had to go through their QZ so that they can rob you. Because remember, it's
in
very
Pittsburgh, the same thing too.
like they go there and then immediately it's like a whole planned out thing. And Joe's like, no, we're not stopping.
So
like,
let's put the limelight on that scene. So in the game, it's kind of the same thing. It kind of goes frame by frame, a copy.
The only difference is that the guy shoots the car instead of a brick
dodging
hitting a.
All that happens.
The guy shoots the car, gets hit by the car, and then they crash. But in the show, he dodges the guy and then gets hit by a brick. Yeah.
So they're sitting there. The guy's like, "Help! I need help! Someone help me!" And then Ellie's like, "Hey, we should help him." And he's like, "Put your seatbelt on." Exactly. And she's like, "Why?" She's like, "He's not hurt." And they speed towards the guy.
Yeah.
They run over like tire spikes. Somebody is on a higher balcony. They drop a cinder block onto the windshield. They spur out. They crash
into like a laundromat. I think it was. What was it?
It was something like that.
Some
it was like
store.
a loading
like
dock
a small
area.
Little store. Yeah.
It looked like a little dry cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. Thing. That's what I thought it was.
And so there's a scene that happens. It's like a standstill. Joel's trying to figure out a way that Ellie can be safe while he
get out of the way while he handles the people.
While he handles the people. And he's like, "There's a small hole in the wall. Crawl over there, get in."
You know what I've noticed? Now bringing it up, he's always so confident on how bad the other people have aim. Because he did the same thing in that show. He's like, "Go." She's like, "They're gonna hit me." He's like, "Trust me, they won't hit you.
They're not that
like,
good.
they're not good. Go." And it's insane that he does it again, like in another episode.
Can I tell you why?
Because he's good.
No, I feel like
he understands.
The apocalypse has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
Joel is 55 at this point, or 50 something.
57, I think he says.
Or something
when
like
he's
that.
climbing the stairs, I think he says he's 57.
He knows life
a lot
before
more than
the
these
apocalypse.
People. Yeah, exactly.
Right? He has these skills over time. When you look at the people that he killed at that particular scene, it's not really said, but they're much younger than him. They're older than Ellie for sure.
Because even
but they're much younger than him.
Yeah,
and let me tell you this: these are the people who, when the apocalypse happened, they were probably Ellie's age.
You're right.
And they grew into the apocalypse.
And had to learn.
And they had to learn how to do stuff with limited amount of ammo, limited amount of resources, limited amount of training. Yeah. So I can see how realistically some of these people are very bad at using a gun.
But if you think about it, the next time he says it, it's a really old guy.
And it's a really old guy who probably isn't at his prime anymore.
Yeah, where he can't shoot as good.
But he was there just trying to buy time for the people to show up that he wanted to help. But
back to the laundromat, right? So we get, like you said, he was looking for a way to get her out of the combat zone. He's like, "Look, there's a hole there. Run in there. Stay there until I tell you to come out."
And then
he's like, "I'm gonna handle it." He does handle it.
He handles it until the point where
someone
he thought it was
creeps
over,
up behind him. Yeah,
and someone gets the jump on Joel, and it's kind of not really established in that last episode where it's like,
I wish they would have done what they did in the game, where it was more, because it doesn't look like a kid of that size can overpower.
Let me bring
Dad's strength to Joel.
Later, we learn in the episode that Joel is deaf in one ear.
Correct. And I can see why getting
it's
sneaked
the
up
same
on.
thing that we saw earlier when somebody got the jump on him.
Yeah.
Because it was on Joel's bad side of hearing.
Where he can't
and so it's not that the kid is not big enough or strong enough. It's that Joel...
Not about getting... like.
Listen. It's that Joel was ultimately caught by surprise because of his impairment. And so that's why that whole scene happens. And this is where Ellie has to put on her big girl shoes.
So she either has to act or he's going to die.
Or he's going to die.
Yeah.
Because it's not really said by Ellie yet at that point that Joel has a bad hearing side.
She hasn't called him out on it yet.
She hasn't called him out on him yet. But then I think she kind of knows.
She caught on, for sure.
And so she saves Joel by shooting the guy.
In the ass.
Doesn't kill him.
Yeah,
which was different in the game.
In the ass.
In the game,
she kills him.
She kills him.
But in the game, what I was saying earlier, so the reason I'm like, I like the chain, but I also prefer the game in this aspect is that when he does get sneaked up on, right, it isn't just like, oh, and then I can hold you down because I'm like strong. It doesn't seem like that person could actually hold Joel down, if it makes sense.
But Joel's also a 57-year-old man.
Have you seen Dad's strength? Dads are strong as shit, bro.
He's also old.
Doesn't matter.
In the game, it makes sense that like he can fight back a little bit. But if you're genuinely in real life, like
what I'm saying is that like in the game he gets caught by surprise,
But
and
that's a game.
and he's being choked, but he's not being choked like above ground where the guy can hold him. He's being choked underground,
water.
which makes
In the
more sense.
water.
That now you're not only are you panicking because you're being choked, you're
You're
panicking because
drowning.
you're underwater. You can't see. You're panic, right? So it makes more sense that in that version,
But this guy
it's
was
like-
choking him with the rifle that he had.
Yeah, he had the rifle on him.
That's what hurts the most, I guess,
yeah, but I feel like
because it's not only
if I was-
his strength, it's
Yeah.
also just the weight of the rifle
weight
itself.
I get it. But I feel like most people could like, especially that size, you could. I understand. All I'm saying is, for me at least, it would have been more immersive if it was like the game where he's being drowned.
There's no water.
Hey, that's what I wish they would have put a puddle or something in the laundromat where it could have happened, but I understand why it didn't. Right?
I don't
and in the game she
feel that
gets
way.
she picks the gun up from because he drops
It's Joel's gun.
He drops
he
it.
gives it to her.
And in the water, and she picks it up and immediately kills the dude, like
Mm-hmm.
headshot. But in the show, it's her gun or Frank's gun that she took.
That she was hiding.
Yeah,
that
and
we
then
said.
she goes up and then shoots him. But again, she didn't shoot him in the head. She isn't as good, or I guess didn't want to kill him.
She didn't aim.
No,
She just
shot.
took out the gun and shot him.
And so the kid now is sitting there on the ground begging
for his life, bro.
right? He's like, please, my name is Brian. I'll give you my knife. I'll tell everybody you're cool. Like, don't kill me,
Can
please.
we pause there?
Yeah.
My sister was like, "Don't go out like this." She was like, "Brian, please stop." And he just kept begging.
Yeah, I mean,
begging.
you don't
and
know
he
the
begs to the
situation.
point where I feel like I'm like, "Don't kill him." But
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Where you feel bad.
But the right decision, you gotta kill him.
Yeah, because you know he wouldn't have.
But he's
he-
lying.
Yeah, he would have because you.
Joel
did-
knows that
when-
he's lying.
Yeah, because when you meet the rest of his group, horrible people.
like,
They're all
"Revenge."
they all lie about shit. They lie about helping people. They lie about like, oh, we'll give you a fair trial. They lie about all that stuff. So looking back on it, Joe made the right decision.
But
right,
that's also
But-
because he's lived
Yeah, that's
20
what I'm
years,
saying.
30 years of
Yeah.
regular life and 20 years of this new life.
Yeah, the
And
apocalypse.
he's like,
people are shitty out
people
here.
are liars.
Yeah, people are liars.
no
out
matter
here.
what. And I think the creators said it
Yes,
in the podcast just now.
the one I was just
that
listening
the
to earlier.
people are
liars. Yeah, they lie a lot.
naturally. Mm-hmm. And
Especially in this world, he was saying
and
people
now
lie. Mm-hmm.
Joel has this experience of the two lives that he has had so far in this lifetime.
Yeah,
and he's like, I can't take the chance.
Yeah, exactly. And then he tells Ellie, go back in the wall.
And then so instead of like talking about the situation that she had to do, he's like, go in there, and then Ellie starts crying. Ellie's like,
She drops a tear,
she's like,
wipes it, and then she's good.
yes.
Just
that's
like Joel.
She was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
We-
just like Joel.
fuck it, we ball.
It's insane that like you can see the influence happening, right? Where like she sees how he deals with grief, and then she starts doing it. She's like, I cry, I'm good. It didn't happen, right? And so when he sends her back into the wall, the knife that the kid offered him, he took it and then stabbed him in the chest with it, and then kept the knife because later time when you see him, it's on his like belt.
It's on
I'm
his
like,
head, yeah.
I'm like, Joel, there's something wrong with you, bro. How you gonna take the kid's knife and kill him with it?
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
It was a good knife.
It was a good knife. It was a really
It killed him in one
I
shot.
get it.
He one shot.
But it's like super disrespectful that he did it. But it's funny.
What I thought was gonna happen was that the person that we're getting introduced to, Kathleen,
Yeah,
at
the leader of his group,
The
yeah.
scene, the very next scene.
I thought it was gonna be
I
his
thought
mom.
she was going to
Be Brian's mom?
meet Joel and
Oh.
notice the knife.
Oh no, she never. No one brings it up.
That's what I thought.
I thought so,
I'm like,
maybe, yeah.
I thought the knife was gonna play a bigger part, but it's just a nice
It's
knife
just
that he has.
But you know what I like about the show is that it's showing you that Joel is a scavenger. Like he does take people's stuff when they're dead. He takes their guns. He takes knives. He takes bags. He takes supplies. He's like, oh, this is useful. I'll take it.
Fuck it.
So after he kills Brian, right? Do we jump to Kathleen and their group, or do
yep.
we?
We
stick
jump
with
to
them?
that group. We jump to that group.
And then now this is the part that
This is-
I can understand why
there-
people like fell off.
There's a scene where they're just Joel and Ellie just walking through the buildings. They're searching for stuff.
Don't they sit down and talk about her like killing somebody, or is that after they introduce
that's
Kathleen?
That's like at the end of that scene, but it's not really like. No, that's after Kathleen because
After
they're
Kathleen.
hiding
Yeah,
at this
yeah, yeah.
point. But
Okay,
they were
okay.
just scavenging, and
Yeah,
then I guess it's an important moment in that we won't skip. But it's
Yeah.
like Ellie's in the basement somewhere, and she sees
Yeah,
the
yeah.
zombie underneath all the rubble.
Correct.
And then this is where she already shot a human.
Correct.
And she's like, all right, I guess I'm going to kill this thing. Not because it was a danger to her, but I think she did it just to get the sensation of
No.
like
The
how she
director
did
said
it.
in the what is it in the podcast the episode for that episode that it was her trying trying to answer the question that she had for Joel earlier when they were walking, and he was telling her about the apocalypse, how it happened. When she asks him, are they still in there? Right? So she asked this question, and he says, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're gone. Yeah. So the director said when she jumps down there and is examining the walker, or sorry, not the walker. I
don't know. What are they called?
What are they called? Runners, stalkers, whatever they're called. While it's stuck in the rubber, it can't hurt her, right? But it's still very conscious. It's still moving. Its face. And so in that moment, she is trying to learn if there is still a human in that body in any way, shape, or form, right? So that's why when she first goes to it, she cuts it, sees if it will have any pain receptor. Nothing.
Doesn't bleed. It's just
you
like
see so spores on it, right?
Yeah.
So then she's like, okay, so yeah. Once you're gone, once that monster takes over, it's just that, and then she kills it, and she's like.
So now that you said that,
yeah.
The ending of the next episode, it kind of hits a little bit different now.
That's what I'm saying.
We recap it.
Yeah.
So we get that, and then we get a long-winded introduction to someone that
Kathleen, the main bitch.
That this episode sets up in a way that it didn't deliver in the next episode. Gotcha. And this is where my gripes are. Kathleen, she's a leader.
Yes.
Clearly a natural leader. By the time
selfish leader though,
we don't get any backstory.
None of it
at this point,
no,
but it feels like.
But you get glimpses of it.
It feels like she's been in charge for a long time, and then we can talk about episode 4 and 5 because they should be one episode.
Correct.
And we learn that she's only been in charge for roughly 10 days.
10 days or so. Because her brother was in charge of the revolution.
Her brother was in charge, and we get these little bits and pieces of who he was.
Yes.
He's a great man, a good leader. Yeah. Like he was supposed to be this revolutionary hero
of a hero,
the greatest guy that could lead humanity back into back to where it was.
Yes.
And he dies. He dies because the government at this point is Fedra, and they were bribing other regular people, civilians who were in this quarantine zone. They were bribing them into like giving up information
about the resistance.
That
was being made by Kathleen's brother, who was the leader of it, right? And so when when we first introduce her, she's like in a room with a doctor, being like, "If you don't tell me where this person is, I will kill you."
And
he's like, "You can't kill me. I'm a
doctor."
And she's like, "I don't care in this world." And this is the thing that you realize really quickly with this person is that she's a very selfish person, and all she cares about is revenge. And at the end of the day, that's literally all it is. She does not care about these people as much as she wants to be a leader to these people. You can tell it's very selfish, and it's very much about, I want revenge for someone who meant a lot to me. And right, and there is a parallel that you will see later on with her characters, with her character and the two main characters that we follow.
A lot of the people we meet are
mirrors.
Are mirrors to our character. One may say of
to our characters,
of the main characters, of like one particular instance that this happens to our main characters, and that person could be you.
Absolutely.
That could be them.
Yeah. So she's interrogating the doctor to find out where Henry is, and this is where we get introduced to someone who's in the game, an older brother to Sam, and in this it's completely different because in the show he lives in Kansas City. He's part of the QZ, which in the game he wasn't. He was someone who was passing through Pittsburgh who needed help
with another group of Fireflies
who needed help getting out because all his group died. And so he makes a deal with Joe that if he helps him, he'll help him and whatever. So in the show, he's part of the QZ, and he was good friends with Kathleen's brother, right?
All of them.
All of them. He was part of the resistance, and his brother got sick with leukemia, right? That's what they said.
His younger brother Sam got leukemia.
Yeah. It's a little boy who's 9 years old, right?
Yes.
A little 9-year-old.
He's younger than Ellie.
Yes, 9.
And that's purposeful because I think Ellie is 9.
No, Ellie's like 10.
Is she?
Yeah, she's like 10, 11. But he's like 2 years.
He's just younger than Ellie.
Yeah, and he's also
he's older than Ellie in the game.
Is he?
Yes.
I thought they were the same age.
He's kind of like bigger.
No, because
he's kind
of when they go to a toy store, he like wanted a toy.
Oh shit!
I think they're the same age.
How old is Ellie in the game? The same age?
She's like 10, 11, yeah.
Because she looks like a fucking teenager in the game.
Yeah, she does. But she only is a teenager at like the end of the first game and the beginning of the second game, and then she's an adult for the most of the second game. But yeah. So we get introduced to Henry and Sam, who, again, his brother got.
Henry is desperate. Let's start saying that.
Yes.
Let's cut through this fluff.
Yeah.
Because the episode was fluff. Henry is desperate when he learns that Sam is diagnosed with leukemia.
Yes, and
He
the only
speaks
people
to
who
the doctor, and he's like, "It's leukemia. We have very limited medicine for this."
And the only
But
way to get
Fedra
it
says,
is
if you want to give up some information, we
give
can
it to
give you this medicine. And he is inherently scammed.
but they say it needs to be a big scoop. We won't give it to you for
Exactly.
anything. And he knows
he
what's the
gave
biggest
up
scoop
the head of the resistance.
which is Kathleen's brother. And
And
this is where the hatred comes from.
He gave up that guy, that the next
The
coming
sweetest man
of
in the
Jesus,
world, yeah.
apparently.
And even he says it. He felt bad about it. He felt like the bad guy. He did the wrong thing for a selfish reason.
So he gave him up for these pills
Mm-hmm.
that would not save Sam.
It did for the
It-
short term.
Just prolonged when he was gonna die.
Yeah, I agree.
Got scammed
Mm-hmm.
with some pills magic beans that would cure cancer. Which we all
For a
know
bit.
that's not how that works.
Correct, but I mean,
right?
it's
But
fictional.
again, he's desperate.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the overarching theme of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's desperate and wants to save his
Person he
younger
loves,
brother.
yeah. The person he loves, yeah.
And in turn, he created someone who was desperate
Yeah.
to avenge someone that she loved.
Yeah.
And so now we have this leader at the forefront, not fighting, not liberating these people for the sense of liberation,
Yeah.
which she overthrows Fedra in the span of 10 days.
Yes.
Her brother had 20 years to
Yeah.
do it, and he didn't do
And he never
shit.
did it, yeah.
He was a bad leader ultimately. He could have been the best guy. He's a good guy, whatever.
yeah.
But he ultimately
didn't do what needed to be
didn't
done,
do anything to free the people.
Correct.
That he said. I mean, it's the fucking revolution,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whenever there's an oppressor
And then when he got caught and was in prison, he told his sister to forgive the people that
that put him there.
that put him there. And then she was like, okay. And then he gets killed. And she's like,
The
dude,
brother's
I'm done
right hand
yeah.
man ultimately
Pierce.
begins to follow Kathleen.
Yes.
Because that's what his brother would have wanted,
Mm-hmm,
right? And he tells her verbatim what I just said.
Mm.
Your brother was a good guy, but he's
didn't do shit.
not a leader.
Yeah, he
he's
didn't do
not.
shit.
He didn't do anything in the time that he had.
Yeah.
And Kathleen takes that information. She's like, I don't care. I'm going to fulfill my vengeance quest.
Yes. Because
And
even
that-
when they're searching for who killed Brian, right? Because they think it's someone that
They think it's
and
Henry
Sam
knows,
called.
yeah.
So they're looking through the houses and they find the tunnel and they see that there's things under that floor.
Something is happening.
Yeah, and
Thing
when
is
when
moving.
Pierce is like, hey, we should like
Tell people about this.
tell this and send people in there and clear it. She's like, not now.
Not now. First,
We have things to do.
Henry.
Yeah. And so
Then-
that's the first glimpse where you're like, oh, this person does not. Actually, no, the first glimpse is when she goes back to kill the doctor. Because when Brian comes back and she's like, can he be helped if I had
It's
a
not
doctor?
Brian, the other guy. Brian's still dead.
No.
She's
Oh,
helping some random
Oh,
guy.
really?
Yeah, she go, "Oh, that's Brian dead." And then someone's like, "Oh, this guy's injured." And then she's like, "If I had a doctor, will that help?" She's like, "No, he's just going to die."
Oh, and then she goes
Some
back and just kills the
random
doctor.
guy. She goes in, just kills the doctor.
Yeah, and then they start searching for Henry, Sam, and Joel and Ellie. And then they run into the tunnel, right? Or not the tunnel, like the
They pass by that
Yeah.
little crack in the foundation.
like
of
a bunch
the
of little
road.
cracks where like you can see that there's something
It's like
under
pulsing.
there. Yeah, there's something under there, right?
Something is trying to escape at that moment. So
and
she
Pierce
says,
is- Go ahead.
she says, "That's first Henry, then this."
Yeah.
And then the episode ends. And then we proceed to episode 5, and we get to see
No,
the
no. Episode ends when we jump back to Joe and Ellie, and they get to a building. And they're like, we have to climb 40-something stairs.
Oh yeah, and Joel
to find-
he
he only gets to
climb
like 30
32.
some. Yeah, 30
And-
some. And then
And
they,
so Joel is a survivor, a
Yes.
scavenger. So he knows what to do.
yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna break up this glass. I'm gonna put it by the door,
Yeah.
and if somebody comes in, I'm gonna hear that shit.
But then he turns over like an idiot when he
Wait,
can't
whoa,
hear.
whoa! And Ellie is like, hey. She's like telling him a joke,
Yeah.
but she's like, "Hey, I know you favor one side because you can't really hear on the other side, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, finally, I think acknowledges that.
Yeah.
I think he's always been like, "Nah, I'm just a fucking bad day. I can whatever, right?"
He's like, yeah.
And we get the confirmation finally. I think he accepts that.
And then
about
she asks,
himself.
her, is it because he got shot? And he's like, no, it's probably because I'm always shooting.
I'm
yeah.
always shooting people.
Yeah. And
Which is
so it
realistic.
Makes a lot of sense.
Realistic as
Guns
fuck.
are loud. I've shot guns. They're loud as fuck.
That's why they give you the earplugs.
Yeah,
when
I
you
wear
go
the
to
earplugs.
range.
You wear earplugs and earmuffs, and they're
Yeah.
like, and you still hear that shit. That shit is loud, so I can only imagine just straight raw dogging like guns like that, like in
Firefights.
Yeah,
Just
and
bam,
especially
bam, bam.
inside buildings where it's mad loud. So yeah, and then
And Henry and Sam run up on them because Joel is
they
having
were,
a
they
good
were watching
time.
them the whole time. Yeah,
And I think this is why I think this happens. Ellie tells them the jokes. They have this big ass laugh together.
yeah. Like,
Joel
cute,
is
so
now
cute, yeah.
feeling safe with
Yeah.
Ellie. Ellie is feeling safe with Joel.
Yeah.
They feel
They
like
do
they're
trust each other
bonding
now, yeah.
because they now trust each other.
Because during that laundromat scene where she was afraid to run, he's like, "Do you trust me?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "So go in that wall." And he proved himself there
That he could trust.
that
That
he
she could trust
she
him.
could trust him. So from then on, I think Ellie like just outright trusted him 100%.
Did that fly bother you too? It was just
Yeah.
flying around. So the trust is there. They
Yeah.
feel safe. And Joel's like, all right, I'm going to sleep on my good side, like with my good side facing
Yeah.
up. And I think because he
I
had
think he turned
that
over,
moment with Ellie where he feels safe,
He turned over.
he turns over because he's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think he turns over, and then we have the ending scene with Henry and Sam.
And this is before we know if they're good guys or bad guys. Because all the
Pointing
story
the
that we
gun.
just explained, it doesn't explain it to you in episode 4. That's all in episode 5. We were just
which
giving
we-
you
which-
context.
Which we merged. I
Yeah,
said we're going to merge
they
it 'cause
should
we're
have
going to
merged
cut
it,
out
yeah.
some shit.
They should have merged it.
So
I
we
agree
meet
with
Henry
you.
and Sam by visuals.
Yeah.
And he goes,
They point
"Shh,"
guns at them. Yeah.
and the episode ends, right? We
And the
cut
episode
to
ends,
episode
yeah.
5. We get a whole bunch of backstory of
Sorry,
Kathleen
that we just gave you 2 seconds ago.
that
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. Like,
We do see the revolution and how ruthless
can I tell you something?
that they are compared to, like, they're literally just Fedra with a different hat, because they were just as ruthless, just as evil as Fedra was when they were in charge. Actually, no, they weren't were they raping people?
I don't know. They're probably raping Fedra.
Because when Henry talks
the
about
Kansas
him,
City
yeah,
QZ is known to
be bad, yeah.
the worst.
That the Fedra people were torturing,
ever.
killing, and raping the
pillaging
citizens.
people.
Yeah. So I can see why you would want a revolution, but you shouldn't have. That dude was taking too long.
Well, they always say the when the people are oppressed and they revolt and change something, they're not that much better than the people that were there.
Exactly.
And we get a flashback for that, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And then we get a bunch of Kathleen talking,
Mm-hmm.
and even the right hand man looks bored. She's like explaining why, like her
the
brother
room,
means
the
to
room,
him,
yeah,
the
the
room or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't need to hear that. I would
mean-
rather have gotten another flashback of like the brother,
Yeah.
like doing this, showing this stuff to her to
Yeah.
make her feel safe.
Correct.
As a
I
as
would
a
have liked
younger
the scene
child.
between the two of them where it would make sense. Instead
That
of
would
her-
have been much
instead of her
better
just always
than her
explaining it.
talking
Yeah.
for like 7 minutes.
I agree with you, but
while-
I do like her
while I'm on
story.
my phone.
I do like her story. I do appreciate that, like, it humanizes her in a way that you're like, I can
It
understand
would
why
have
you're
been better
acting.
if I got a flashback.
Yeah, I
and
agree,
I saw her younger self scared, terrified,
Yeah,
and
and
he's
her
like,
brother's helping
"Hey,
her.
this is a box.
Yeah. I get that.
This
and I
box
agree.
could be anything that
It's
we
better
want.
to show than tell.
We're gonna
right?
be
And
exactly."
so they were
And they
telling
did
us,
that with the
yeah.
revolution.
Correct. And so we get that scene with her in the room explaining how much her brother meant to her and
For
how, like,
7 minutes.
yeah, and then how, like,
Too long.
she can't let go of this revenge because of how much he meant to her. That she has to see this through, and
Blinded.
either like her secondhand man is with her and the rest of the army is with her, or she's gonna do it alone. And he's like, no,
He's
we're
like,
with you.
we're with you because
Yeah.
because of what I
Because
said
of what you
earlier
did.
that
Yeah, like,
you
did the
changed
change.
shit.
You're the reason we're in charge now. So right, so we get that scene, then we jump back to showing you how Henry got out with the doctor explaining him about the tunnels, them running out of food, and then being like, oh,
And
the
then they
doctor got caught. What are we gonna do if he doesn't come back with
And
more food?
Sam says this. Sam's like, "Hey, do you think he's caught?" And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, no. Originally, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, no, he'll be back. Trust me.
Yeah.
And then something like they hear gunshots from the top of the roof,
Yeah.
and then he's like, yeah, he's probably caught.
Yeah, he's probably, like, dead.
He goes back to he's like he's probably gone. And then we sync up the POVs where now they're watching Joel handle shit.
Yeah,
He's handling
now
business.
they heard Joel get crashed into the laundromat. They run to the window or the door or whatever,
And so
and they watch it all.
Experiences that. He's
And he
like,
sees
this
how
guy,
capable this guy
guy's
is, yeah.
a fucking man.
Yeah.
He's killing everybody.
And so-
He's handling shit. And then there's a funny scene that me and my sister laugh at that exact moment where he's watching Joel. There's no way Joel could see him.
Yeah.
And then Joel looks exactly at his direction.
And he got scared as hell
and
and
he got
ducks.
scared and he ducks. That was the funniest thing ever. And so now we fast forward. We're back
at the hotel
sleeping
room,
scene.
yeah, where the guns are being pointed at each other, and Henry's trying to explain
He's
to him,
desperate.
like, listen,
Again, he's
he's like, listen, I don't want to hurt Ellie, I don't want to hurt you, I just want to talk, and as long as you promise me that if I put the gun down, I won't hurt
cool.
you, you
We're
won't
cool,
hurt
guy.
me, we're cool. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, but he's giving him such a monotone answer that he's not believing.
And he's like, can you tell him? Like,
he's looking at Ellie. Yeah, like,
Ellie's like, that's just how he sounds. I can't stop it. And I think that was a funny moment.
Yeah,
that was
really
a real
moment
in that, because you can tell Henry, although he did bad things, he's not a bad person.
He's not a bad person, correct.
And you can tell, just like, he's genuinely wants reassurance that everything's going to be fine between the two of them.
Because he doesn't want to hurt these people. He just wants help, right? And so
he needs help.
Correct. Yeah.
Because the doctor was helping him, got killed.
Yeah.
And so now we get these kind of like, we'll skip a few parts, but eventually they'll talk about going through these tunnels, going underground to get to the other side of Kansas City, and then eventually going their separate ways.
And then
as they progress through this plan,
they also explain that, or Henry explains to Joel what he has done to be targeted as because Joel's like, he's like, why are these people so like up your ass? Like, why do they want you so bad? And he explains to him, and he's like, oh, you're a rat. You're a collaborator.
He's like, I don't work with rats.
Yeah.
And then they eventually work together. And then as they're progressing through these tunnels, the kids are bonding. Joel and Henry are also bonding in the manlier way, where they're like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to protect my brother. And he's like, I can understand that.
He's like, and I can tell that you used to be a dad, even if it's not her.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
And he's like, because before then, there's a scene where was like, damn, your dad's pretty mean or some shit like that. And they both say,
that's not
I'm
my
not
dad.
her dad.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's not my dad.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I can tell you were a parent though.
Even if
it's very honorable that you're not that you're honoring somebody's request of taking care of her. And he's like, if that was me, I would want someone that I could trust to do that. I think that hits Joel a little bit without him really saying anything. It's just more of a, like, he takes that information in and he's like, oh, fuck. Like, like I'm that guy. I'm that guy that does that. And so they bond in this school area that was like a little safe
zone that, like, it looks to, well, in the game, it's two people that were running away from the hunters that are in the game chasing you that made a settlement underneath in the sewers. In the show, it seems like it's two Fedra soldiers that got sick of what the people were doing in the QZ and took a certain amount of people, went underground and made their own community. Yeah. Because it looked like there were like paintings of these two Fedra people and people were writing about them, and they had rules. It was like, don't leave the door open, don't do this, don't do that.
Ultimately,
someone did. Someone left the door open. Yeah,
and they lost that little bit of.
But all the supplies are still there, all their toys and stuff. So the kids wanted to stay there for a little bit. Yeah, they're playing soccer. They're like getting along. They're reading comic books. Yeah, and it's really cute how like they're like getting along and like he's communicating with her. They're writing on his little like pad thing. And so from there, then Joe's like, okay, like it's dark out now. Like, let's get out of here.
Let's get the move on.
Yeah. And so then we get outside with no problem, which by the way, I thought like, oh, we're going to run to a few zombies down here. He did say that. I don't believe that it's completely cleared. We saw like last week that the ground was rubbling. There's something down there, but they got out safely.
He mentions about it being clear. He's like, Fedra said they cleared it out 3 years ago. Yeah. Right? He's like, but you're here just in case they didn't.
He's like, I can't.
He's like, they're probably like one or two maybe down there. Yeah. But I was talking to Christian about this. He was like, hey, we saw that big pulsing hole happening. How are there no zombies on there? And we go back to the planning stage where Henry's like, there's 3 sets of tunnels. We need to go into this one that leads from here to there, and we're fine. That's it,
and we're good.
So it's possible that the other two tunnels, areas
weren't clear.
Were fortunately
that they were all just in one area.
There.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, it's a cheap way to like progress the story, but you know,
for sure.
Fuck, it's the luck of the draw.
It's
like,
the luck of the draw. Yeah.
In the game, it's not that easy.
No, in the game you do have to fight.
You got to kill things and you got to
run.
But
that's the point of the game. It's like it's supposed to be an action game. They want you to fight things. But in this one, they wanted to be more.
They wanted you to see those bonding moments between Henry and Joel and Sam and Ellie.
Yeah.
And they said that they purposely made Sam a lot younger than Ellie so he can look up to her.
Like because a big
the
sister.
Way the way Ellie looks up to Joel.
And
so she
feels responsible for the kid the way Joel feels responsible for her.
Exactly. And Joel says to Henry at one point in their dialogue, he's like, man, I mean, kids, they have it easy. They have no one depending on them.
Yeah.
And then Ellie all of a sudden is with Henry, Sam.
Yeah.
So with Sam, and then Sam is younger, and Sam is following Ellie.
Yeah.
Instead of following his brother like he usually does. The two men are walking in the front.
Yeah.
And they're walking behind together. And all of a sudden, Ellie has a gun. You know Ellie has a gun, right? And so she is like the last line of
I mean,
defense.
they all have guns, but the only ones that have loaded
except
guns.
Sam. Sam doesn't have a gun.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
His brother's gun. They have
He
two.
doesn't have a
They're
gun.
both unloaded.
He has bullets in his. Henry had 2 bullets in the chamber when he held up Ellie and Sam, but that gun holds 6. So the first 4 bullets weren't gonna click if he even like shot.
Oh.
In the ending of episode 4,
unloaded.
In the ending of episode 4, you can see 2 bullets in the like revolver thing.
Oh, okay.
But the one that would shoot out was empty.
Yeah.
Along with the other empty slots. So he says they're unloaded, but they were really like we see in the show, like when you freeze frame it, there's 2 bullets in there.
Oh.
So he is the one that's gonna shoot because him and Joel talk about like they don't want the kids to have to do that, right?
Yeah.
He's like talking about it. He's like,
he also explains to him like after they've bonded, he's like, hey, listen, whether you want to come or not, I'm going to Wyoming and I'm walking, and you're more than welcome to join. Which, by the way, Ellie asks him earlier if they could, and he was like, no,
we're going our separate ways.
Yeah. And
then he offers it.
Yeah, to see him like be like, hey, listen, like I really enjoy, like I like seeing them get along, and I like you, and like we can actually come together and walk to Wyoming together.
The moment that he offers it was preceded by them laughing together.
Yeah,
he's like, hey man, I haven't heard him laugh in so long, and he's like, man, they're kids, they have it easier, they don't have anybody depending on them. Yeah, it's our job is to keep them safe, right? Yeah. And I think there's a quote in The Walking Dead from Herschel, one of the people we meet in season 2. He's like one of the more
the farmer.
He's like kind of like how I would like have described you, of like you're the humanity guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, children are the most important asset right now.
Yeah.
They're ultimately going to like literally be the future of civilization and keep it running. And I think
if you
keep
raising all of them to be evil, the world is
going to always be evil.
Yeah.
And that's how I think Joel and Henry view Ellie and Sam.
Yeah.
He's like, they're gonna outlive us.
And he also makes a joke about like his plan worked. There was no zombies. That they got out easy. And he's like, look, it worked, man. And then right when he says that, pow, gunshot,
boom,
from like a tower, and they like
sniper shot.
Yeah, they like run behind the car, and then like, what do we do?
This is where the game differs from the show.
Yes.
There's twice that Henry abandons Joel and Ellie.
It tries to abandon them.
No, he abandons them twice.
Oh,
and then
they meet up.
And they meet up, and then he beats the shit out of Henry one time, and then they meet up again, and he beats the shit out of him again. But we don't get that here.
No, they stay together the whole time.
They stay together, and then where I thought we were gonna get it is where Ellie didn't make the transition from one car to another.
Yeah.
And then Henry goes back for Ellie and brings him back where Sam is. And so I was like, okay, cool. So Joel handles that sniper.
Yeah, he goes up. I really like this scene that when he gets up, that he's like, listen, you can just give me the rifle, sit up here for another hour, let us go. Right? And I won't kill you. I'll leave you alone. But for some reason, this stubborn old fucking man,
he doesn't give him the choice. Bro. He's like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then he makes a move.
And no, but he tells him, he's like, please don't like turn around. Don't shoot the gun. Like, just stay up here for an hour, give it to me, and I'll leave. Right? Let us go through.
No, he wants the rifle no matter what. He doesn't.
No,
say,
that's what he said.
He doesn't say just keep it. He's like,
no, I didn't say anything about
this.
Is
what
he said, stay upstairs.
He said this is what's going to happen. After I'm going to take this, you're going to stay here for an hour, and then that's it.
And then he said, please don't do anything funny. Don't turn around. Don't try to shoot.
He doesn't say
don't try
please.
to play hero.
He says don't do anything.
No, he says please.
I don't have to rewatch it, but I heard it as don't do anything stupid.
No, he says please because he doesn't want to kill this old man. He's like,
he didn't have a problem with killing younger people.
Correct, but you can tell that it's catching up to him. That he's like, I don't want to have to kill every single person I get into like a fight with. Right? He's like, if you just give me what I want,
it wasn't a fight.
Gone.
He was shooting at him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And he was nice enough to be like, listen, I know what you're doing. It's like you're doing your job. You listen to me. You don't try to kill me. I don't try to kill you. Literally, what he just did with Han.
Let's fast forward to
with Henry. And so he kills the guy, and then
because the guy is old and stubborn and doesn't fucking listen. Yeah. Kills him, and then we realize that on the radio is Kathleen.
Yeah, being like, "Yo, hold him."
Who Joel doesn't know of.
Yeah.
Through eyes, only knows him through the stories Henry told, and he realizes that he called it in.
Yep, the moment he shot the first shot.
Not even the moment when he shot.
He probably called it in
before he even took a shot. He probably like, yo, there's I see Henry and Sam.
Yeah.
Here in my post, I'm gonna take some shots to delay
hold
them.
down, yeah.
And then you make your way over here, and she's like, copy. So now they come, and there's this scene where Ellie and Sam are hiding with Henry. Joel is
At the
with the
tower now,
sniper.
yeah.
He took out a car and it crashes into a house.
Yeah, because the
It's
car
on
got
fire.
there, it's like chasing them.
Yeah.
and it's like about to run him over, and Joe's trying desperately, like if I don't kill this driver, he's gonna run over the kids.
Yeah.
and he hits her, and then the car swerves
The car
off.
swerves, and
hits
now
a
we have this
house.
standstill.
Yeah.
House is on fire. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, yeah.
Standstill. Kathleen is telling Henry to come out. It's
yeah.
like, hey, come out. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
And
like,
Sam.
and then he's like, okay, I'll come out, but can you let the kids go? And
She's like, no, he's gonna die because
Like,
she
I'm
said
killing that
earlier,
kid.
kids die every day.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about kids' lives.
yeah.
And then we circle back.
Oh, and she also like, says like, I know why you did it. I know why you turned him in. I know you needed the medicine, but you should have just let him die. She's
kids
like,
die every
he
day.
was gonna. Yeah, she was like, what makes his life so important? Like he was gonna die anyway after that medicine ran out, type shit. Like there was no need for you to go and get my brother killed over something as stupid as like
Again,
a kid that was gonna
he
die.
was desperate and
Yeah,
selfish.
correct. Yes.
Selfishness is
So
the
she was like-
undertone of the show. And as you brought up to me, love is the
Is
overarching,
the overarching
tone of the show.
Yeah.
So and you can't have one without the other, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so she talks out her ass for a couple minutes, and
does,
then
yeah.
all of a sudden, that problem that we had at the end of episode 4
it's back.
comes back,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just a few zombies; it's all the zombies.
That were under there,
And one
a bloater.
Big brolic Brock Lesnar looking ass
it's
zombie
that's a bloater, yeah.
comes out and starts fucking everything
Everybody
up.
up, yeah.
Everybody is, although they are armed with assault rifles
Yep.
and a
Everybody
lot
has
of
an assault
ammo,
rifle, yep.
they are caught off
They're
guard.
killing the little ones, right? Like here and left, but like because they're all running at him, and there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
If they had 30 bullets in the clip,
They get
and-
like 1 or 2.
exactly, you're not getting 30
Yeah,
zombies
no.
with
There's
each
no
of
way.
them. They're getting 1 or 2, and then they have to reload, and
Yep,
it's an
and then that's it.
overwhelming
It's too many of
force
them, yeah.
of them. And this bloater grabs her right hand man.
Yep. He tells Kathleen to run.
He's like, run and don't look back. Drop
Yeah.
this if you want to live.
Yeah.
He grabs him as how we would see it in the game and rips his head off, clean off his
yeah.
body. And she witnesses that
yeah,
and decides to run, quote unquote.
yeah.
Henry, Sam, Ellie are going up to meet Joel, and then
No,
there's-
they all started running once the zombies came out.
I'm
so they all got
skipping. I'm
separated.
skipping that.
Well, no, it's a very important part because this is where Sam gets bit. Right, it's when they're both underneath the car and there's like clickers coming at him, and Ellie is trying
saves
to,
them.
Ellie's trying to run away from the other clickers
In the car.
and Joe is like clearing the way for her. Right, so he's like sniping all the zombies in her way so she can get out. And so
And then she saves them, and then
Yeah.
they're running away.
they're running away. Yeah,
And Kathleen stops them. Did not take the advice of the guy.
nope.
She is like,
like,
I'm
I
gonna get
still
my
wanna kill you."
revenge, even if it kills me in the process.
Yep, and that's what it does.
Henry, Sam, and Ellie are at gunpoint. They don't make a move.
Nope.
Joel is already walking back down stairs, so he doesn't have that vantage point to just
Yeah,
snipe her
to
and
snipe
kill
her,
her and
yeah.
end it. And then she's attacked by a child zombie
The one that was chasing.
that was chasing Ellie
Yeah, earlier.
and kills her right in front of these guys. Already a traumatic
her ass, bro.
experience. Like bites
Yeah.
her face and then punches her.
No, punches the shit out, then bites her. It was like beating her up, bro. It was insane.
So that happens. Joel,
just-
Ellie,
yeah.
and the group regroup,
Yes, they go somewhere.
and
then
they're
they-
at a motel. And then we're like, "Fuck, that
We did
happened.
it. We got out. Yeah,
we
we're happy.
barely got out."
Yeah, we got out. We're happy. Everyone's safe.
In contrast of the game, where you would fight your way out because it's a game and you had to fight, and
Yeah.
because it's part of the game.
Yep.
The show puts it more as you are not going to win this fight.
Yeah, you just witnessed the
you
most
just
insane.
survived this.
Yeah, because in the game you can kill those like those big ones
Those
that
big
everyone was
ones.
shooting and nobody could kill. You can kill them in the game.
And Troy Baker, who is the voice actor of Joel in the game, he's like, "Yep, just a few nail bombs, set them on fire,
Yeah.
and then waste all your ammo, and you're
yeah.
fine."
Yeah.
But this is not the game. We're not going to get any satisfaction of watching that because we just saw him rip off that guy's head. In the game, they one-shot you. In this TV
one-shot
show,
you.
they one-shotted you even faster. And so
Yeah,
they're-
it seems like the all the zombies are a lot faster in the show than they are in the game. Like in the show, they slowly
The
get to you.
clickers are
Yeah.
like echolocation.
Yeah,
and
the bloaters are even like a little slower, but they were all booking it at
they
you,
were
bro.
fucking. There was zombie boot camp,
Yeah, it's scary, bro.
and my sister was like, "I want to go to zombie boot camp. I want to see what that's like."
Scary.
They
but
jumped out of the floor,
Yup.
chasing everybody, killing everybody. If she had just told them, what
I think
that
that
was,
whole QZ is done for, right?
it's done. It's done. They're all dead. It's
They
just
have
over.
to be because even the people that didn't go with her, that
They're
zombie's
dead
gonna
too.
all run over there. and kill
Exactly.
them.
She
So
killed.
it's-
She
the
killed
whole QZ,
everybody.
yeah, just because she wanted revenge. That's insane. So we meet up with our group, the main group, in a motel, and they're like winding down, right? They're like,
The kids are in the room with the beds.
they're reading a comic book together,
Yep,
right?
and
Yeah.
the adults are just outside of it,
Talking,
right? So
yeah.
they're rather sleep on the floor, and the kids sleep on the bed
The
because
beds,
again,
yeah.
it's a protector, provider
Yes,
thing
yes.
to do. And so now we don't see any development really with Joel and Henry. Or the whole last bit
Besides,
of
like-
the episode, the whole last bit of the episode is just at this moment is just Sam and Ellie getting to know each other, talking with each other. And
Him
this
teaching
is
her sign language.
only the stuff that she likes, like Endure and Survive, Promise.
Yeah,
And so they start having a fucking deep conversation
Yeah.
for fucking children.
because you can
he's
tell
like-
that he knows something. Like he knows that he got bit, and he doesn't want to tell
We
anybody.
know the people who play
we
the
don't.
game.
We don't know,
We know the people who play the game,
but the
that he
people
got
who
bit.
didn't play. Wouldn't
So
know.
the people who are just watching for the first time
Yeah. Won't
are
know.
just like, "What's happening here?
Yeah, like why is he like asking these
Why is
questions?
he kind of like depressed?"
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
he asks her, "Hey, are you scared?" And she thinks
says,
that's
like,
funny, and she
yeah.
replies, "Do I look scared?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
Never.
No, never."
And she's like, "Well, I'm
And
scared
then-
all the time."
And then she realizes that he's really
Sad.
asking him.
Yeah.
He's asking him emotional questions, and she finally starts picking up on him, like, "Oh, you're not
Because
being
at first
funny."
she's like, "Oh, like, yeah, I'm
Do I
scared of
look-
scorpions." Like
Yeah.
making a joke about it, and he's like, "Oh, like,
He's like, "No,
I'm trying to be like serious," and they're taking it
then
as
she
a joke.
picks up on that tone,
And then she's like, "Oh, my
the
bad."
tone is never said.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never because he can't.
Yeah, he can't talk. So she just like, oh, like, and then she just restarts doing it. She's like, no, I'm actually really scared of
I'm scared
being
of being alone.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, and it comforts him. He's like, okay, so I'm not the only one that's scared of stuff. And then again, he asks her, like, so he has the same question that she had, Joel, in episode 2, right? Is it still you when you're a monster?
Yeah.
And what's the answer that she gives him? Like, no or something?
Like,
or
no.
yes?
She's like, no.
Oh, so she says no, right?
She
'cause
says no.
That
and
was
then,
that.
and then that bums him out.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
And so, and she went to that. Remember, she came to that conclusion when she got curious and did the same thing and went to a clicker and like sliced him and stabbed him, right? So that's why she came to this conclusion that no, there's that person in there is gone. And so
So
after that, she
asked
put,
him.
yeah,
She asked him. He asked him that. She asked her that, and she's like, now I think subtly she's like, why are you asking me this specific question? And then he reveals to
he
her
lifts his
that
jeans
he
up.
was bit, and
Right,
that
from when
and that
they were under the
happened
car.
when they were under the car, and so she's like, I have a bite too.
Yes.
Look at my bite.
Yeah, like you're
She
okay.
never tells them that in the game. She never
Yeah,
tells
she
them
never
that
tells them
they're
any of that,
immune
yeah.
because Joel never wants to risk someone
well, in the
killing her
game,
anyway.
he never reveals that he got bit.
Yes, exactly.
In the game,
That's
they have a
different, too.
conversation, and then
he
she's
goes
like,
to sleep.
"I'm gonna see you tomorrow morning." And
like,
then when she
"Bet."
goes back into the room with him, he's turned, right? But in this one, it's way more emotional, right? It gives more weight to Ellie when she finds out that, like, even though she really really wanted what she was doing to work, it didn't work.
We didn't even get to that part
Yeah.
yet. So this is back to where Joel's like the kids have no one to depend on them.
And
And then this is
motorcycles or some shit.
yeah.
They're like bonding over dumb shit, like that.
This is where that becomes untrue. So now Sam is looking up to Ellie
Yeah.
already, and now he depends on her.
Yeah.
Because he wants someone to help him out
Yeah,
on,
'cause
to
he's
figure
like-
this out. And so Ellie reveals the bite, and she's like, I'm the cure.
Yeah, like my
The
blood
whole-
is medicine.
The
Yeah.
whole time they're like, I'm the cure to solving this.
Yeah.
He's like, my blood is. She cuts her hand. She's like,
Yeah.
this could help.
Like, my
And
blood
so
is
she
medicine.
Cuts her hand open. She starts bleeding out. She's rubbing her exposed hand on the bite,
on the bite, yeah.
and she's like, hopefully this works.
You don't
Like,
understand, like that scene hit me so hard. I was literally bawling and I was like praying, like, please let it work. Please just
wasn't
write it
gonna
that
work.
he lives. I was like, because I knew he was gonna die, but I was like, please just change it for me. Like, do what you did with Bill and
With Bill
Frank.
and Frank.
Like, let this boy live, please, bro. Like, let
that
it
moment
work.
needed to happen.
I know.
So-
But damn, did it hurt when it did?
After she rubs the blood on his foot, he's like, "Can you stay up with me?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Of course." the last 2 episodes that we saw that Ellie does not steal for shit.
She's really bad.
As soon as she's sleepy, she knocks
she's
out.
out. Yeah.
And so she does that. And she wakes up.
And he's facing the opposite direction.
Sam is looking out the window, fucking, just watching it, watching the window. She walks over, taps him on the shoulder, like, hey.
Yeah.
She says, Sam.
Yeah.
Forgets
knowing
he's
damn
deaf.
well that he's dead.
Forgets he's deaf. Goes up, touches him, and it's fucking zombified Sam.
And then it starts going for her because now it knows that she's in that room with him because he's deaf.
He's deaf.
Doesn't know that she's in there even though she's
the
talking.
The clicker in him hasn't fully kicked in yet.
Like he doesn't have echolocation yet.
Exactly. So he gets she pushes him out of the room.
Yeah, and she's yelling for Joel.
She's like, Joel,
help.
And Joel
this is
and
where,
Sam, Joel and
where,
Henry were just drinking coffee or something.
Yeah, they were like awake already, like chilling.
Because they're men.
And this is where shit gets crazy.
So she gets pushed out of the room.
And you see Sam on top of her about to bite her, which, by the way, it couldn't have infected her, but it could have mauled her.
It could have killed her, yeah.
It could have
just how we saw with Kathleen getting the absolute shit beat out of her and then her face torn apart.
So she's screaming for Joe, and Joe goes for like his gun, and Henry grabs it first.
It's on the floor for whatever reason, so it's not in his usual spot.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were sleeping. He trusted them. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to.
Again, it comes back to the comfortability, as in the glass on the floor. He's like, we're good. Like I'm gonna leave the gun here.
Yeah, I trust that you won't try to kill me.
If anybody barges in, one of us would grab it and protect the people we need to protect. That's why it's not in his spot.
Exactly.
Because let's say Joel is compromised for some reason. Where is Henry gonna get a gun? So I think that's why it's in the middle of the floor between them as they're hanging out. So they're sitting on the floor sipping coffee.
Or were they eating or sipping something?
I think they were drinking coffee.
Okay.
Probably.
I don't remember.
I don't think they would eat without the kids.
Oh, you're right.
So they were drinking coffee.
Yeah.
And then we see this fast instinct moment happen.
Yeah.
Sam is pushing Ellie onto the floor. He's infected, and then
Ellie's screaming for help.
Joel is slow. Like again, the age difference between Henry and Joel. So Henry
like
grabs
20s,
the gun
bro.
instantly,
fast,
grabs it instantly, and he shoots two times.
No, he aims it at Joel first, and then he keeps going for Ellie, and then he shoots the floor.
He shoots the floor, bang, and then
Joel's like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
Joel's like, "Bro, let me help her," and then he shoots it again.
He's like, "Stop!"
And then he's like, at that moment, Ellie's really about to get fucked up.
Yeah, you can tell.
And then he kills
He
Sam.
notices. He's like,
he recognizes.
He recognizes that if he doesn't stop Sam, 2 kids are gonna die. Right? So he shoots him and then immediately regrets it.
And then he's like, What did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do? It's not what you did.
And you can tell that Joe caught on and he's like, Henry, please give me the gun. He knew that if he held that gun, if he could get the gun away from him, Henry wouldn't have died. Right? Henry would stay alive.
Which we haven't revealed yet. So we should have revealed it first. So just ruined the impactful moment. He kills his brother and he's like, what did I do? And then Joel's trying to talk him down.
Yeah.
Like you just said, but
like a lot nicer. Like, Henry, please give me
the gun.
He's like,
you don't give me the gun. We'll get through this or something like that. And then he's like, what did I do? Like he's not hearing. He's not hearing Joel.
To anybody. He's just talking to himself, bro.
What did I do?
He's like looking at his brother's like the blood pool.
What did I do? He just says over and over and over. And then he's like, I can't, and then just points the gun to the bottom of his temple.
Yeah, and then shoots.
And then shoots himself, and he's dead.
He's cry that the actress who plays Ellie, fantastic. It's so believable.
We don't see
him.
We don't see Henry shoot himself. We see Joel and Ellie react to it, and I was like,
super bad. Yeah, bro.
I was like,
my heart sank to my gut, bro. I was like, damn.
I wouldn't have been affected as much if I saw Henry shoot himself, as opposed to watching them react to that. And I was like, I hate that you did that to me. But
because you hear her like yelp, like it was so
if
traumatic.
She got shot.
Yeah,
like
it's
like
so
how when you
insane.
step on your dog by accident, that kind of like yelp, like.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
And then we jump to the next scene where Joel is burying him,
which is, can I tell you? It's a big moment.
Yeah, because he burns bodies.
Not even that. Like when he kills people, he just leaves them. Like his job in the QZ was to burn these bodies, but Joel is the type of guy to not bury anyone.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Doesn't bury anyone. And this is the Ellie effect.
I guess
we couldn't bury Tess, but this is the Ellie effect where she cared for.
Well, them. He also cared for them. He
was starting to care for them. But
he wanted them to join.
realized at this moment he's doing this for Ellie, not for himself. he cares about Ellie now, and him burying these bodies is kind of a signal to himself, like, fuck, I care about this person.
Yeah.
I did what I didn't want to do. I opened myself up.
Yeah.
And I care about these people.
Yeah.
And this sucks because now he has something to lose. Before, he was just transporting cargo. Now he's feeling connected with Ellie.
Yeah.
This isn't his daughter, but
They both just experienced something super traumatic together.
this isn't his daughter, but you know, it comes in a weird tone. But it could be.
Exactly.
You could be. Maybe I want you to be.
And it's extremely like heartbreaking seeing her like come with the little pad that
That Sam
Sam
carried,
had, and she wrote "I'm sorry" on it, because you can feel the guilt on her, that like she really didn't want him to die, and she really wanted to believe that her blood would cure him,
but it didn't.
even though it didn't, and she's sorry about it.
And we've
Or do
told
you think it's
Ellie-
her saying sorry because she didn't stay awake with him?
No, it could be both. Again, like there's a lot of things that have double
Yeah.
meaning, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's more of she really thought that she was the cure.
Yeah,
It is not that easy. As we get in the
that's
trailer,
why you need to go to these people.
as we get in the trailer for the next episode, like it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but it's
Yeah.
not. It can't be that
it
easy,
can't just
right?
be a blood transfusion. It has to be a vaccine made.
And
from
it
her
wasn't
blood.
even a transfusion. She just rubbed blood
She
on
just
him.
rubbed blood on him. Yeah, I guess
But that's
you're
the
right.
childish part of her. That's the child in her where she thinks, oh, maybe this will work.
Yeah.
It unfortunately didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this accident. She buries Sam with the thing that he carried around his neck.
Yeah, to
It
communicate
was
with
that
people, yeah.
important that he
Yeah.
had to carry it around his neck. He leaves it at the gravesite, and
And then she does
we
exactly
get
what
this
Joel does.
event where Joel wants to finally talk about something.
Yeah. He's like,
He
we
didn't
should,
talk about Tess dying.
Yeah, we should like grieve right now. And
exactly.
she's like, no.
She's like, no, we gotta move.
We gotta
forward.
go west.
Exactly.
Where's West?
Where's West? And she walks east, and
Yeah.
then he's like, West is that way, which I thought
And
was funny.
It's funny, but you can tell that it's influencing. Like what he does is influencing her.
And he notices that.
Yeah,
He
and he's
recognizes
like,
that
he's
finally.
like, oh shit, like she's.
He didn't pick it up when
Yeah.
he beat the shit out of that guy in front of her. He didn't
Yeah.
pick it up when
He's been
he's
killing
using
people
the
in front of
guns
her,
and she
yeah,
wants a gun.
and being so turned off
but
against
he
her.
picks it up now.
Yeah.
And that's how we end the first 5 episodes.
And then
of
he
this
gets his
show.
iconic backpack from Henry, like in the game. Like his backpack
Yeah.
in the game, Henry was carrying, and because Henry died, he then uses it.
He uses
The one that he puts on his
backpack.
back and then
Yeah.
like puts a jacket on it. So,
So
yeah.
that's how we end the first 5 episodes.
And I thought
of The
that
Last
episode
of
was
Us.
amazing. It was 4.
I think it was.
Was it 4 or
no,
5?
It was
That was
5.
5?
Yeah.
The
only
fifth one was
9.
amazing. I think it was really good.
And again,
It had the same emotional reaction, like I was bawling my eyes out that episode 3 had, but for a different reason.
I feel like I wasn't bawling my eyes out.
Oh, dude, I was
For
crying my
episode
ass
5,
out.
I was like, I was more like shocked.
Yeah, I get
You know,
that.
there's different ways to grieve
'Cause,
and
yeah.
there's different ways to be sad. I was like, I knew this was happening.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get shocked. It was just,
Damn.
it was more of a like, damn, man, I really didn't want
You
it
were
to
like,
happen.
damn, I'm crying. I'm like,
yeah.
damn. I'm like, fuck. I didn't think something that I watched already would hurt me that way.
Same.
Like when we
When I-
talked about
when I-
TV shows
Yeah.
earlier, I was like, I know what's gonna happen, so I feel a little bit safer.
Exactly.
In this moment, I was not feeling
I feel
safe.
the exact same
I was
way,
like,
bro. Every
fuck.
time I watch this show, right, and I'm like, I know that this is gonna happen. I know that this character's gonna die, and then it still happens. Like when his daughter died in the first episode, I cried, even though I knew damn well that she was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this episode, I knew Sam would die, and I knew Henry would die, or at least I knew that it does happen in the game. If they decide to change it, they change it. But
like I said earlier when we were introduced to them in
Yeah.
episode 4, we know the
We know
story.
yeah.
The new viewers don't know the story.
know, yes.
They might have heard it in passing, like,
Yeah.
oh, this happens. It's a big story. It's a long
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
This happens. This happened. It's easily to forget.
yeah,
But we learn with Bill and Frank.
Mm-hmm.
We learn with Henry and Sam. We learn with Kathleen and her brother.
Mm-hmm.
These are all possible versions of Joel and Ellie.
yes, a mirror.
Bill and Frank is the best case scenario.
Yeah,
They
they get to live
live
happy
as a
forever.
family somewhere
Loving
together.
each other, yeah.
And we kind of, there's a scene that we skipped over that
During
we don't
that
really
episode?
talk about in Bill and Frank's episode. It's the
is it?
wall of the gun scene.
Oh, where
They
she
don't
asked for
take
them?
any guns.
They don't. yeah.
Why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because Joel ultimately thinks that he's
He'll
going
come
to
back.
return to
He's gonna
this
come back.
spot.
Yeah, he's like
Whether it's with Ellie or not, he thinks he's back.
Oh yeah, he's like I'm gonna deliver the cargo
And come
and
back.
now I can come back home and
got
if
a crib.
I now know that this is
Safe.
this is secure. This is safe. I can be here.
I've
I know. I
It's
agree
the
with you because
safety
I remember
part.
someone said that like in a comment section of a YouTube video, and I was like, that is genius. That's absolutely what he would do.
So he left the guns, didn't want to carry any
left
more than he needed
rifle
to.
earlier in episode 2 that he's like, I'll come back for it. We don't need it right now. Like it's
He
not,
buries it.
Yeah, he's like, there's no point of coming there's
There wasn't
no ammo
any
for this.
ammo. Yeah,
And he's like, I'll come back for it. If
so
anything.
Bill and Frank are the best case scenario. Ellie and Joel live out their life as a family with a community or not, whatever. Henry and Sam is tragedy waiting to
Where
happen.
Joel has to kill Ellie, if anything. Well, I guess he wouldn't ever have to because she's immune. But
in that scenario, it was that Joel loses Ellie.
Yeah.
Right, and he, instead of becoming Kathleen and maybe getting revenge or doing whatever, he ultimately takes his own life.
Yeah.
So he is a positive one with Bill and Frank, with a little bit of sadness at the end. But again, you lived out a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
You maybe helped, raise Ellie, or you become Kathleen, overtaken by grief and
just want
go
revenge.
on your war path of vengeance, or you become Henry, and ultimately the loss of Ellie is too much for Joel to handle. And so that's so far up to this point. Those are the parallels that we have between the two.
That's all the episodes
three
right now.
Duos. And in the
10
next
out of 10.
episode, we get a trailer for episode 6, where we finally are reintroduced to Joel's brother.
Can't wait.
And we'll see where that goes. But there's 4 more episodes of The Last of Us. We need to progress through a lot of story
Yes, we do.
if we're going to keep season 1 tied to the first game and maybe season 2 to the second game.
I think
at
we'll
most
get a little bit.
get...
We'll get a little bit of season 2 will still be in the first game a little bit, maybe.
I hate that.
No, actually no, because if you read the titles, episode 9's title sounds like the definitive end of the game.
The first one? Okay.
Yeah. So I think it does.
I haven't read the titles.
Don't. It'll spoil it.
Is it? Because on HBO, whenever it first comes out, it's like episode 7. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping that a secret for me. But
So yeah.
that's the Last of Us spoiler
After
cast.
all of this, if you've heard me speak about it like 1,000 times, absolutely watch the show.
Watch it.
10 out of 10, bro. One of the best things on television right now.
This is the only best thing on television. There's nothing else.
What else
There's
is on
nothing
right now?
else
Ted
competing
Lasso's
with
really
it.
good. Ted Lasso's
From
good.
you?
House of the Dragon is good.
Who's Ted Lasso?
You never watched Ted Lasso? Apple TV Plus, I think.
Apple Plus.
Whatever it's called. It's Jason Sudeikis, I think his name is.
I thought Ted Lasso was the guy from You.
No.
What's the guy from You?
Oh, You's also. I really like You. You's on right now. That's Penn Badgley.
Nothing compares. Nothing compares
I
so
agree.
far
Yeah,
on this
nothing.
level.
I think House of the Dragon is really good.
If you're gonna give a shot to any of these new TV shows, I would put The Last of Us on number one.
I agree.
I don't know about 2 or 3, 4, 5, but
2,
I know
House of the
number
Dragon.
1.
3, I don't know. 4,
And that was this week's Idle Talk.
long ass episode.
Long episode. I've been trying to cut it since like 1 hour and 30 minutes, and he wasn't picking up on the cues. Remember to follow us on
Idle Talk.
Idle Talk Pod on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Idle Talk Pod with with an O.
On Twitter.
Idle Talk Pod on TikTok with an O. Idle Talk Pod on Twitter with a 0. And follow us on AMP at Idle Talk. I've been plugging the AMP because I want to do a test radio broadcast between the two of us. It'll be interesting to kind of like do Idle Talk live a little bit and incorporate music. And I want to try. I want to see what happens. I want to see what the vibe is.
Sounds good, bro.
I'm getting the boys to download the app. I want to see how they jump in and react to it. So I want to see what happens. So
Gotcha.
as we figure that out, that was episode 6, The Last of Us spoiler cast for this week. And hopefully episode 6 is a good episode.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see Tommy. I've wanted to see him since episode 1.
Peace.
Bye. Love you.